Your yawn was the first thing everybody heard. That was our mic test. Good job.
That's awesome.
Looks like it works.
All right.
We are just waiting on Daniel or some word from Daniel.
Cool.
But yeah, Laura won't be here today. She said she had to take her sister somewhere.
While we wait on Daniel, I'm gonna go put my coffee mug up. I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. How's everybody else doing? Brian, how are you? You better than last week?
50-50.
Gotcha. Did you finally watch the last episode of X-Men?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's very good. They just released today the making of. So.
What? Of the X-Men?
X-Men 97. Yeah, they did like the making of episode, so it's like all the like coloring and storyboarding and things like that.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's on Disney Plus. I think it's its own like little series. I don't think it's I don't think it's like an extra episode. I think it's tied to the series itself. And then I don't think there's any word on when the next season's coming. Sorry, I can't think. Let's see if I can ping him really quick. Dan, are you available today? Boop. We'll see. We'll wait a few minutes and then see if we can get a response from. Oh, hey, look at that. Never mind. Daniel is here.
Yes, hello. I'm actually sorry. I did not even realize today was Wednesday.
It happens.
Yeah, I'm available though. But yes.
Okay. I wake up nearly every morning not knowing what day it is. So
I woke up like 7 minutes ago.
I feel that. I set an alarm for 9 and woke up at 9:51, and I was like, "Well, okay, guess we're winging it today."
Yeah, I feel that, man. It's the season.
Guess we're just doing it. All right. Well, might as well get started if everybody's good. Any objections? Anybody waiting on anybody? Burnett, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then it looks like Mel's back and Brian's there, and Laura won't be. She said she's gonna try to pop in, like in and out. She's not. From my understanding, she's not doing anything. She had to take her sister somewhere. So she's gonna try to be on her phone, I guess, every once in a while, depending on internet and things like that. But to be 100% fair, her internet sucks at her own house, let alone out being places. So I don't even know. I don't even know. So we're just gonna pretend that Alaric isn't here until he is, if that makes sense. We'll do the same thing. You guys just decide for him. He'll be going last, and he'll just be assisting whoever you guys think will be the most useful. I think that's working for us. I know when we first started, I kind of treated the missing person as like a little token that you guys could move around and do things with. I think the last few sessions or the last few times people are missing, I've more been using them as like a help bot, and I think the help bot is kind of working more. It just makes things go faster, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
Can we make Alaric dance?
Make him dance? Yeah, of course. What do you
Dance,
think?
Alaric,
What do you think
dance.
his signature dance would be? Like the floss, or you think he'd be doing like
The Michael Jackson.
oh, nice the moonwalk? Or are you talking about the spins?
Yes. Yeah, the moonwalk.
Alaric just
Both,
moonwalks into
one
every
above.
room. His moonwalk is so smooth, no one sees him enter.
Hell yeah.
He's like, that's how he does stealth. It's not just moonwalks
Moonwalks
through.
out of the
Yeah,
room.
yeah. Perfect.
The only way you can tell is, oh yeah, yes.
That's how he disappears from now on. Just moonwalks, just into the shadows. And then he's gone.
Yeah.
Shimon now. Just gone. Perfect. Okay. Well, let's have everybody go ahead and roll real quick for your talking order. We'll do a short recap of last session and then we'll get it going. Obviously, Alaric's going first, so get all your bad rolls out of the way now.
Good job.
You gotta warm them up.
Hell yeah.
There it is. See, that dice is warming up. Emmy's dice is too hot. It's gonna burn out.
Oh no. Amy, calm your shit.
Calm down.
The coffee is
It's the
empowering.
coffee. Yeah, it's like seeping into the dice. Oh man, I could use some coffee right now. I was like, usually Wednesdays are my non-energy drink days because we usually have D&D in the afternoons, or we have in the past. So like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, wake up, I have G Fuel. Wednesdays is usually have been not, and I'm trying to keep that, but now I'm like, I mean, I really want something, and it's not helping me out any.
Jonathan, is it possible you roll for me this one time, please? Because I did turn my computer off.
Working on it. I'm sorry you got a 4. My dice are warming up too.
Oh, okay.
Kyle, I haven't seen your roll. Did you roll?
I'm rolling. I don't know why it's not showing up.
That's weird, yeah. Oh, maybe do you have the little eye unchecked?
Oh my god, why?
Hey. Problem solving.
Oh,
Okay, look. Okay, Emmy's dice is too hot. Everybody else's dice is still warming up. So we got Emmy, Evie, surprisingly Adon with a 4, and then Kyle with a 2. So, you know, sometimes it just
Alaric got a
happens.
1.
Yeah. Natural. Okay, so this is going to be our talking order for today. We'll get that going here in a second. Quick recap of last session. So I believe you ended just after a quick conversation. I have a lot of this shadowed out, so you'll just have to use your imagination as I show you some things. But 2 sessions ago, you guys got some services done, some haircuts, and some massages. After that, it was essentially lunchtime. There was a brief conversation with Morgana, as well as the Dragonborn, before the lunch bell rang, and you know, there was a lot of mingling and things like that. A lot of shenanigans ensued. Lunch was served to everyone, and Alaric, Kyle, and Emmy decided to partake, while the others decided not to, you know, to be more on edge about the food. Kyle and Alaric didn't have any kind of reaction. However, Emmy got pretty sick pretty fast. And it was, you know, kind of assumed that it was the food. And, you know, the hostesses and the host did his best to make sure that Saith here did his best to make sure that it wasn't bothering the other patrons. A snapping sound was heard from, you know, presumably Morgana, and a big white curtain appeared around Emmy to kind of block out the sight and sound of Emmy being sick. And you were all kind of informed that, you know, this is not an uncommon occurrence. Most people who visit the Restful Lily for the first time, they're not used to the naturally restorative, naturally healthy foods that are used here at the Restful Lily. And, you know, this is the toxins and the poisons and the impurities leaving your body, essentially. You hear this all the time with, you know, natural remedies and things like that, you know, putting onions on your feet and they'll turn black and things like that. Weird stuff. But so that was just kind of what was told to you by Saith. And since Emmy was the only one that was really falling ill, you know, there was no one else that really had an idea of what was going on. But, you know, some more observations were made. You met one of the other matrons, or you saw one of the other matrons, Greensong, stepped in out of the kitchens and into the dining area or the lounge in order to observe everybody. Most, if not all, of the other customers, the other people who are staying at the temple, came to the lounge as well to enjoy a meal. And so you kind of got an eye on most of the people. And then after lunch, you all broke apart and kind of went and did your own thing. A couple of the couples went off to the bedroom to kind of rest and recuperate after lunch. Some of the other patrons stayed. Jarlaxle down here in the corner has never moved, or you don't know his name yet, but the drow, the dark drow down here has never moved. It seems like the rock gnome in front of the fireplace, in front of the hearth, has almost never moved and engulfed in his work. But others departed to kind of do their own thing, and you all were left to your own devices as well. And so you chose to do different things. Kyle went off this way to go participate in a challenge that was given by Arissa, as Arissa, excuse me. That entailed some physical activity. You guys were split into teams after joining up with the two couples, the human couple and the halfling couple. And unfortunately, no one won the challenge for today. Alaric spent some time observing as well, hiding in the light of the temple windows. He did go unnoticed. And so you saw some people, Alaric saw some people traveling back and forth. Saith came into the lobby. Alaric came out of the lounge and into the bathhouse. So Alaric kind of has some ideas of where people are moving to. And Adom spent some time, observing over here in the lounge, just some more people before moving into the garden as well. And then I believe it was Emmy and Evie began a conversation with Greensong at first, and then Morgana second. So Evie and Emmy kind of inquired a little bit about the food, like why Emmy had gotten sick. And Greensong just reiterated that, being an elf, she naturally has magics. So it's possible that some of them had seeped into seeped into her food that has healing properties. I believe it was Emmy who got the idea that she wasn't being 100% truthful, whether it was completely indirect or, maybe every once in a while she sprinkled in some of her own magics. But you couldn't tell whether it was for altruistic reasons or malicious reasons, if that makes sense. You couldn't really decide or tell whether she was being malicious about it or not. It just was happening. And the fact that Emmy's the only one that got sick, again, doesn't really lend itself well to a conclusion at this time. So none were really made. But Greensong went back into her kitchens, and you started up a conversation with Morgana. This whole time you've been asking various people if they've seen the dwarf that you're looking for now. At first you couldn't remember, you didn't even know who the dwarf was, but 5 points to anybody who knows his name now and can pronounce it correctly.
Valdrax?
That was so close.
Hold on. I gotta find it written down so that way I can. Valthrax.
Valthrax, yeah.
There we go. 5
points to, I imagine you're a Slytherin. 5 points to Slytherin. And so you're looking for Valthrax. That was essentially your entire purpose for coming here. And Morgana did not know or recognize that name. She mentioned that the only dwarf that she was aware of was Hyaron, which Emmy and Evie did have a conversation with. I'm sorry, not Evie and Emmy. Evie and Kyle had a conversation with at lunchtime in regards to the food and what he'd observed there, if he'd found Valthrax. And I believe it was at the time that Evie and Kyle noticed that Hyaron, was wearing essentially like a full face beard. It was like a toupee that covered not only his head, but also his facial hair. And it looked a little unnatural, but when it was pointed out to him, he kind of got a little heated at first, but Evie, excuse me, was able to calm him down or appease him, and Kyle made a distraction with his soup by spilling it all over himself.
Got him.
I got him. Yep. So Hyaluron was a little appeased at that. After Evie pointed out that his toupee, we're going to call it a toupee for right now, was peeling at the edges. It looked like the adhesive had started to come off. So he was like slightly mortified and slightly grateful that happened. But anyway, regardless, that was the only dwarf that Morgana was aware of at the time, or that was at least a patron here, or a customer here at the Lily. And you were offered kind of a job, so to speak. Your help was requested. That was the last little conversation that you had before you got up and left. Morgana offered you all the chance to help them if you would sit with them at dinner time and enjoy a meal with them. They would explain their situation as adventurers. Morgana got the idea that you weren't really there to be customers. You were there to look for Falthrax. So she offered you a job and is asking for your assistance to go over that further at dinner. And right now, I believe Emmy and Evie have tentatively accepted, but they have not presented that to the group as they started to go off and do their own thing. Adom, Kyle, and Alaric had a brief conversation in the garden after Alaric and Adom did their best to kind of observe some of these Leslies, these maids, assistants, other employees there, and found that they are kind of robotic in nature. They're very stoic. They give very little expression. They don't do anything really without being asked or told. Kyle tested that by telling Leslie to go over into the corner over here. And Leslie, after observing that there was no mess or no real reason for her to do so, kind of ignored the order. And Alaric, after a few minutes of observation, revealed that the Leslies hardly move. They don't flinch. They don't wobble. They don't do anything. They barely blink or breathe. And when they do, it's very rhythmic. It's as if they're, doing something on a timer, or as if they're blinking or breathing because they're supposed to, rather than maybe because they have to. But, it's really undetermined as of now. Kyle spent some time listening, and there doesn't appear to be any mechanical whirs or fluids pumping or anything like that. They are not robotic. They do seem to sweat for for what it's worth. And so you kind of gave up on the Leslie for now, but Kyle and Alaric decided to set up a little diversionary plan so that Kyle could look through Saith's books on the in the lobby. So Alaric had Saith show him off into I believe I don't remember entirely what it was. I think it was just like one of the services here. And so as Saith left, Kyle took his opportunity to look at the desk, look at the notes, and there was nothing there. It looked like everything had already been swept off the desk and provided to Morgana earlier, although Kyle doesn't necessarily know that yet. Actually, I don't know. When did Seth provide the documents after lunch?
He was there at that time.
Yeah, he was here.
So
I'm
I'm not
trying to
sure.
think of when.
He was giving Morgana the notes, like, right whenever people were leaving to their rooms.
Yeah.
It was like whenever Kyle and I moved up to the bar top.
Okay. We can assume that then, we can assume that Kyle figures or imagines that whatever logs were there were part of the documents that were given to Morgana over in that packet of that, that folder, all those documents that he provided to her. So Kyle found essentially nothing. And so during that time, Emmy and Evie were investigating the grounds. They investigated this big tower first. Over to the right, there was a statue outside the tower of an elf. Above the door itself, the door was ornately carved. I believe it was bright red with gold inlay. And the tower itself was well kept. However, it was locked. There was no way to get in at that time. And observing through some of the windows, you really just discovered some kind of studio or some kind of big room here on the upper left. It appeared to be a bedroom here. on the right. And then closest to the door seemed to be an entry area. Emmy, I believe, rolled that and determined that she thought maybe she could see someone in there doing something, but it was hard to tell, as the windows were heavily curtained. But you know, some information could be gleaned from that. And then after that tower, you decided to go look over at the ruins that appeared to be hidden behind some more trees, but you were able to see a building over there. And the last description that I gave you of that was a crumbling stone building, must once have been a beautiful shrine. Engraved on the doors and on some of the walls are engraved images of Suni. However, they are now covered with moss and lichen and, you know, muck and dirt. However, her above the door on the walls, her face still appears to be glowing and gazing down upon an old worn path that looks like it would have also connected to the stone one here. And then on the very front where Emmy and Evie are a pair of stone doors that appear to be sealed shut by some sort of disgusting, thick, clear, like resin, almost like a thick mucus, if you will. However, a faint inscription is still visible directly above the doors that read, "Welcome, dearest ones, come find the beauty within you." And that is where we ended the session. So we are all caught up, as far as I know. Are there any questions, comments, concerns about any of that, or anything that you have before we start this session?
No.
No.
Okay. Perfect. Then what we'll probably do for now is we're going to we'll attach Alaric to whoever it makes sense to attach them to at the time. But Alaric will just act as a help bot unless Laura is able to pop in every once in a while. And we'll just go from there. Yeah. Okay. So if there are no questions, then ready, set, go. Emmy, you are up first if you would like to be.
Are there any windows I can look through here?
Yeah, you can definitely walk around and yep, you can walk around and look around. So there are in fact 4 windows, it appears. There's one to each side of the door here, again covered in muck and dirt and moss, but it doesn't appear to be covered in that lichen, or not the I'm sorry, not lichen, the mucus. But there's a window here and here. Are you trying to look in them?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I was checking to see if my spells can like look through stuff. It would just let me peer through that veil.
Yeah.
Between worlds.
Oh, like the see invisibility kind of thing?
Yeah.
I mean, if you'd like to use it, you're more than welcome to. I'll tell you that it's probably not necessary. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me now. We're going to do something similar to how we were doing it for this tower over here to determine what you can like observe through the lichen. Evie, if you would like to help, you're more than welcome to. If you want to take your own action on your turn, then that is your prerogative.
I'd like to help her for sure.
Okay. Then Emmy, you can either roll with advantage, or Evie, you can roll your own. It's up to you. Or you can help each other. I don't care. If that, whichever.
It's a perception check.
It would be, yes.
I'll do a roll because I have a +7 in perception.
Okay, perfect. Then roll with it. Amy, do you want to help her? You can roll with advantage. That way, Evie can roll with advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. 22.
Okay. Yeah. So, you look inside, and it's again, these windows are covered in grossness. Even, you know, some attempts to break off the moss is really just making it almost worse. It's like it's like spreading mud essentially. You don't really have much to do there, but you can see that it appears that the inside of this building, it appears to have been abandoned for some time. You can see that there are remnants of furniture. There are things shattered, or, pieces. You can see little pieces of something that glitters all over the floor as well, but it's really hard to tell what it is. The only way you can tell it all is that sometimes you look around and the sun will, your eyes will catch it as it reflects off the sun, but being able to tell exactly what it is at this time is not possible through just the windows. I will say that you can probably see from one of the front windows if you tried really hard. It appears to be a very large, a very large structure at the back of the room. And I'll let each of you roll an investigation check for that. Again, I don't care if you roll it separately or you roll with advantage. You can choose whichever one of you.
What's your modifier for that, Bernadette?
A -1.
I'll roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a +1, but
That's two better.
yep. All right. Ready?
Facts.
14.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make out what that is. It seems to be standing straight up. It goes, it seems to be very tall, but from where you're at, it's probably hard to tell. You can't get a good image of it from either of the side mirrors. It's really probably only this left mirror, excuse me, window. These side windows, you can't really see much. Maybe out of this left window, you get a vision of what it might be, but it's too hard to tell through the dark. This place is entirely closed off. I mean, as you can probably imagine, the only light that would be coming in here are bits and pieces from the windows itself. There may be a couple of holes in the top of the roof that may be let down like beams of light, which is allowing you to get some kind of vision inside here. Emmy doesn't have natural dark. Oh, as a tiefling, do tieflings have dark vision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And fairies don't, however, right?
Mm-mm. Is there? Can I see anything like candles and stuff inside?
I would say that probably no. Other than what I've described to you, you're pretty much out of luck as far as anything else you can see. I was trying to give you as much as I could give you on the
share my vision.
structure. It wouldn't help. It's not a matter of the darkness. Like I said with Emmy, Evie's kind of seeing what she can see. Emmy can see through the darkness. It's not really that issue. It's just that there's so much grime and grossness covering the windows.
Too bad we don't have the what's it called?
Prestidigitation.
Yes.
My favorite.
Where's Arthur?
My favorite spell. If I was to pick any spell to take out with me in the real world, it'd probably be Prestidigitation.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay, so that's essentially covers what you guys are doing and seeing over there. You've taken some time to investigate the shrine to the best of your ability. So we're gonna move on. Adon, you are still in the garden. You've kind of been keeping an eye out to make sure that nobody was watching over here while Kyle looked over the desk, and then Alaric took out Saith essentially off on a tangent or off on an adventure. And then so yeah, you're free to do whatever you like at this point. The watch has been performed.
Yeah. I was just gonna I actually have an out of character question. I really should have asked this earlier. It slipped my mind. Remember you said there was something that was, I believe, in the kitchen. I'm not sure what the dining area, that there was something related to like potentially storing like small creatures, small people.
Storing small people. I don't remember saying anything like that, and I'm trying to think of what.
I'm not sure if that was. I actually don't remember what the hell that was. I was just checking to see if there was any like conversation in this class here related to that. Like I was just listening in to see if there's any hints of like potentially hiding small people.
Hmm.
I know it sounds weird, but in terms of like spells that could be casted just to like displace things, I wanted to see if this, like, if Azarissa was potentially going to mention anything while at the same time just keeping watch. Otherwise, I was going to just link up with Kyle.
Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, here's what I'll tell you and what I'll give you to kind of take a look around things. Firstly, I'll tell you, and I know this is kind of a cop-out answer. I feel like I give this a lot, but you guys have been going to a lot of magical places. This place is it's surrounded by magic. I mean, the whole place is magical. And the fact that you've already learned that this place travels from place to place, it's not like the temple moves. And for right now, for all of you've learned and what Morgana has mentioned, is that it practically moves, and maybe you don't know this yet because it was a conversation with Emmy and Evie, but it moves kind of its own accord. The magic that surrounds this place is natural. It's innate. It's not anything that the sisters so far that you know of have control over. But because of that, I will definitely allow you to roll. I will let you roll a perception check, but here, I'll let you choose either. If you're trying to like look through the magic, right? Obviously something, your eyes might be deceived, right? The magic, like you said, might be hiding something in plain sight, or might be showing you something that isn't there. And so
that's more what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I will certainly allow you to roll for that. I'll let you choose either between a perception check. Actually, it'll probably be either investigation or arcana. I'll let you choose between either of those, investigation or arcana.
That'd be the same for me. I'll just do Arcana check.
Okay, perfect.
Ooh.
That is a pretty good roll. Let me see. So you do glance around, and I've described the garden to you before, but outside of the garden itself, this is supposed to be like an open air garden, but you recall it being almost solid from the outside. Looking in, when you guys were outside the front door and you were approaching this place, you don't recall seeing a garden here. It really just looked part of the structure. But now that you're in here now, you can see out. You can see out into the surrounding. What did I call this before? Oh goodness. I used a word several times last time. I do this all the time. Outcropping, I guess. This whole section here that kind of picks up and moves when the temple does. You can see out into it and you can observe it. And so some kind of magic is obviously keeping this place secure from the outside, or maybe even obscured from the outside, but not stopping you from seeing the beauty in the gardens and the trees and the area around it. So there's that. But you know, that is, I don't want to say expected, but it is what it is. I will say that you get you get the smallest inkling. It's not any kind of confirmation, but it's like this prickling in the back, like your hair raising on the back of your neck, little goosebumps every time you glance over in this left corner. It's almost like you're seeing something without seeing it. There's something that's
almost like an after image.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's almost like you can see something out of the corner of your eye that when you look straight at it is not there anymore. Or rather, it's, you know, you can see the tree, but there's something about that area that is there and isn't there at the same time, if that makes sense. But
yeah,
that's probably what I can give you here.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to stand next to it or not, but
sure. I mean, to be fair, Kyle was up in that tree, and Adon was over there hanging out, and neither of them so far have reported any oddness, but you taking a bit of time see something, maybe.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to just focus more on this tree than Azarissa. Sorry. ADHD at its finest, but we'll see.
Yeah. Just staring at the tree.
Yeah. Okay, then I guess I'll just maybe reposition.
Sure. Yeah. Wherever you like to go.
My computer will let me stay right there.
Alrighty.
Also, sorry if I keep staying muted. I'm coughing a lot.
No, you're
Just a
good.
lot of it.
No big deal to me. But
I don't know what
yeah,
else
if
I'd
you'd
be
like
able
to
to do.
see, I'll give you one more action, or if you'd like to ask any questions or observe anything else, I'll give you one more. While we're in this talking mode, I think I'm gonna try to stick to like 2 actions apiece, unless you just don't have anything. If you'd like to wait, that's perfectly fine too.
I might just have to wait. I don't really see much else I can do at the moment.
No worries. Alrighty, then Kyle, it is on you. Alaric has taken Saith out off to the east. Adom has been in the garden. You've just been disappointed. Whatever you would like to do is all yours.
Crap. Poop. Dookie. Many words in relating to poop. I don't
Right.
know. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I thought this plan was gonna go well, and it didn't.
It was a good idea. It was just unfortunately, 5 minutes too late.
Yeah, bad timing.
Yeah.
There wasn't much here in the what was this called again? The spa.
It was the bathhouse.
Yeah, there wasn't much there, right?
Well, so it was a brief visit. You walked in, and at the time it was very steamy. You saw the pool. Saith showed you the pool. Opened the doors for you. You were able to see a couple of visitors. However, there really wasn't a deep dive of an investigation there at this time. Also, for the sake of giving something away, you can ignore it if you want to. It doesn't. Not ignore it. It's impossible to ignore once I say it. But I want to make sure. I think I might have moved Saith into the bathhouse when we first entered. When I did the tour, I think I just took him in here and opened the doors. I want to make sure that Saith stayed outside. Saith opened the doors for you and let you guys wander in as you wanted to, but Saith doesn't go into all the rooms. I don't think you've seen Saith in the garden. I'm not sure if you wouldn't have seen Saith in the bathhouse. You probably haven't seen Saith in the kitchen yet. But I just want to be clear. You've seen Saith in several rooms, but you haven't seen him in the bathhouse and you haven't seen him in the garden.
Okay, that's weird.
Maybe. Or maybe I'm saying it to trick you.
I guess. Well,
it's a red herring.
I guess I'll explore the bathhouse more. I don't really know much else to do. Like, no one really has any answers. Like, did we ask these people who Falthrax was? And then I'll.
No conversation has been had with the halflings or the humans.
Then I'll go outside. Are they doing anything?
They are doing a class right now with Azarissa. They're in some kind of aerobics, part stretching, part pole dancing class.
Then I'll come back and we didn't talk to the drow, correct?
That is also correct. No one has spoken to the drow.
Then I'll go to the wherever he is.
Okie dokie. Boop.
Hello, sir. My name is Kyle. How are you?
Sorry, I'm chewing.
It's okay.
Adom, do you have a reason? Like, would you like to stay in the garden, or did you want to join Kyle? I'll let you do either.
I was gonna have a suggestion that if Kyle didn't know what to do, I was gonna try to signal at him to maybe like try to go back into the tree to see if there was something that was off with it. But if Kyle wants to go around and do something else, I could just join him.
Okay, so what we'll do is that you probably we'll have you go and try to find Kyle and to kind of provide your suggestion. You see Kyle walking into the lounge, and you can follow him there if you'd like.
Yep.
Is that fair?
I'll move my token in a second.
Perfect. No worries. Okay. So, yeah, you definitely can sit down. Or Kyle approaches, introduces himself, which is very nice, and yeah, you the drow finishes the drink that he was taking and kind of sets his mug down at the bar and glances. He glances up like just to the left, and then you see him register that there's nothing there, and so he glances down at Kyle, and he's like, "Oh, I've never seen one of you before. Please have a seat."
Okay. I was hoping to ask you a question, if it's okay.
Ask away, my small friend. I don't know how much I can help you, but I'll do my best.
Have you happened to have seen a dwarf named Falthrax?
No one named Falthrax. The only dwarf that I've come in contact with or have seen in the lounge here is that Hyaron character, the man with the funny fake hair. I'm sure you've I'm sure you've been made aware.
That was fake hair.
Oh, dear God, man! Yes, that was one of the worst toupees I've ever seen, and the nerve to use the same piece of hair to cover both his head and his beard. I can't imagine he's well, let's just say I can understand why he's here. Any other dwarf that would see him would laugh him off the face of the mountain.
Whoa. Oh, but it was so perfectly attached. I didn't even notice.
Well, he's doing his best, and of course the matrons here are doing what they can to help them, or so they say. But let's put it this way: if you were to come across another creature of your kind and they had, I don't know, fake whiskers, don't you think you would probably be able to tell the difference?
That's true. Makes sense.
And you know the dwarves. Maybe your kind has something like it as well. The dwarves are finicky about their beards. They don't care about the hair on their heads so much. I don't know how Hyaron does, but has a dwarven beard is a sign of respect. It's a sign of old age. It's a sign of battles won when they braid it and they decorate it. I can only imagine for him as a dwarf, losing that part of him was embarrassing, shameful, so to speak, especially considering how he may have lost it.
Interesting. Well, do you happen to know the history of this place? It's kind of weird that it just moves around. Don't you think?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the first half of your question? I didn't hear it.
Oh, do you happen to know the history of this place? If don't you think it's kind of weird that it moves around?
Oh, strange, maybe. Not that uncommon. Plenty of places are magical enough to move on their own. What's strange to me is that the sisters don't seem to have any control over it. They claim to be responsible for this place, but even they can't seem to notice when it's moving or where it's going or how it even gets there. So I consider that a bit stranger than the place moving on its own, but from my understanding, places like this go to where they're needed. If a customer calls to it, it will show. It will appear.
How do you think they claim to get this place, anyways?
Are you asking me how they came across a place like this? If it wasn't, or how
Yeah.
they created it?
Oh, you think they created it?
Oh, I'm merely asking for clarification on your part. I don't think they created it for what it's worth. I couldn't tell you. Sometimes magic passes from person to person, and magical ownership passes from person to person. Perhaps they were customers who visited this place over and over and over again, and when the old owner decided to move on, so to speak, the magic passed to them. I couldn't tell you. I've certainly not been here that long.
So, what are you doing up here then?
Roll a
Just to
persuasion check for
relax?
me.
Oh, okay. I think I've asked too many questions.
Maybe it's not the number of questions you asked. Maybe it's about what you were asking, if that makes sense.
Oh, whoops! I put 5 instead of 1. Hold on.
Thank you for being honest. Inspiration to you, if you don't already have it.
15.
Yeah, so it's funny. He's freely talking. You know, he's opened his mouth and spoken freely of Hyaoran. He's opened his mouth and spoken freely about the temple and about the sisters. But as soon as you ask him about himself, he stops and takes a bit. But he glances over you, and whether it's because he doesn't see you as a threat, you know, he takes another glance at you, and again, your small stature, you're unassuming to him. You're talking to him, so he's at least showing you the respect to respond. But you know, perhaps it's maybe as an adult appeases a child, so to speak. He kind of leans into you and whispers that I've gotten some trouble with the wrong people, so to speak, and I was looking for a nice place to lay low and relax a bit, if you will. You know, let the heat fall off of me. And so I was running through the high woods, and I saw a sign, and here the place showed up, and here I've sat.
That's understandable.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with getting in trouble sometimes.
He chuckles. It definitely, like, I find myself in trouble quite frequently. I'm sorry. Did you have a name?
Oh, Kyle. My name is Kyle.
Oh, yes, you said that. I'm sorry. I wasn't really paying attention then. My name is Jarlaxle.
Nice to meet you. I reach out to shake his hand.
He, like, extends 2 of his fingers to you, essentially, like, again, like you handshake a baby kind of thing. And he looks at you, he shakes, but he's, yes, pleasure is mine. Now, Kyle, tell me, why do you find yourself here? Firstly, what are you? I know that sounds rude, but it seems that you can communicate. It seems that you have some kind of manners and a penchant for getting in trouble like myself, so you must be, I don't know, something. Are you unique, or are there more of your kind?
You know, that's a good question. Part of my journey is to find who I am, or what we are as a species. But I'm essentially a Kripka, a squirrel-like creature. But that's as far as we know. If you know what I mean.
Well, that is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I myself hail from Minzo Baronzon. The Underdark has been my home for most of my life, but I occasionally make it up top to close a deal or so. And I'm not familiar with the forests up here. In fact, they make me very uneasy. So I'm not familiar with the races above, so to speak.
Yeah, we're not very common around here either. We don't get out much out of our village.
Sometimes it's better that way.
Yeah.
Well, at least they have something to drink up here. This isn't too terrible. A little weak for my taste, but what can you do?
Indeed. wondering, out of character, I'm wondering what else should I ask him? You guys have questions?
Adom's there, so if Adam has any questions, he can certainly join in if you'd like.
Don't want to interrupt the conversation. It's just more to signal to Kyle. I'm just keeping my distance.
You signal me now.
Huh.
As you enter the room.
Yeah, let me walk up. Around. All right, here. What's up, Leslie?
Oh, hey, Adam.
Hey, Kyle. And hello, sir.
Glances over and hello to you. I assume you're a friend of dear Kyle here? Or are you
Yes.
more of a caretaker?
No, friend.
Well,
He can take care of himself.
that is good to hear.
I don't want to interrupt the conversation, but Kyle, whenever you're done over here, I'd like you to check out something you've seen earlier, literally beforehand.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I think I've asked my question in regards to our friend. Thank you for answering
Anything?
my questions, Jarlaxle.
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 I can post it. Technically, this is his full name, but you don't know his full name. There you go. Sometimes I forget you guys aren't versed in D&D lore. Jarlaxle's like a huge character in D&D lore. He's like,
Oh.
Yes.
he's a very big deal. So I was hoping when somebody heard his name, they'd know like something would ping, but nothing. It's quite all right.
Oh man,
Ow.
that's cool. I'm
My
gonna do my
fault.
research.
No. No, don't be sorry.
Would Kyle be able to do like a history check type of thing, or maybe Adam, like something
Yeah.
where they would recognize the name Yarlaxle, however it's said?
Oh yeah, I'm proficient. Hey.
I'm trying
I
to
mean-
think.
'Cause we've done it
Adam
with other names
probably
before.
Adam probably wouldn't have any connection. Growing up on the island out there, I don't see why. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know if there's any connection between the Drow and your island out there. I can't imagine that the Underdark extends out under the ocean. So we're gonna say that Adam probably knows less about it than maybe Kyle would. I will let you both. I'll let you both roll. However, Adam, I think I'm gonna have you roll with disadvantage because I really think I don't think Adam would have any.
Like, yeah,
if you can explain to me why Adam would have any knowledge, like background knowledge about Drow culture in general, then I'll let you roll straight. But if not, I'm gonna say you probably roll with disadvantage here.
See, for Drows, I don't know, because definitely Draconic and Orc ties, Elven, but Drows not really. I don't think even in Corridor I had anything to do with Drows.
That's kind of my thing too.
Yeah, I'll just roll with disadvantage.
Yeah, I'll have you roll with disadvantage, Kyle. You can just roll.
Okay.
I mean, Drows.
History, right?
Yeah, history's fine.
Ooh. No clue.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so neither of you.
That's
Jarlaxle does not ring any bells for either of you whatsoever.
we just met a superstar and we don't know about it.
Yeah. But yeah, Jarlaxle waves you off with he raises his tankard at you, or his mug of whatever he's drinking, and till we meet again, Kyle and Adam, and goes back to drinking and completely ignoring you.
Nice day.
Oh, his
All
roll.
right, Kyle, let's check this out.
What are you doing, Chief?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm lagging. Whoa.
All right. We will get back to Kyle and Adom's adventures in a moment. Let's see if Emmy and Evie would like to participate in anything. Okay. So Emmy, you were up.
Emmy's gonna walk back to Evie and she's gonna casually say, "You think I should bust the door open?"
I'm a little nervous slash suspicious of this like mucus on the door. Like I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. I don't know if we should touch it.
Good.
I mean, you can try.
Yeah, Emmy's
You
gonna
use
want
your
to.
boot. I mean, there wouldn't be like any skin contact or anything, but
Wait a minute, but we took our clothes off and have robes. Does that also include our boots?
You have
oh.
little slippers.
Well, okay, so maybe we shouldn't go busting into any buildings. Like, they did invite us to come to a dinner to like discuss a potential job. So they might not take too kindly if we just break their shit and go like breaking into buildings, you know?
True.
So maybe instead we should like go link up with some people, tell them like we're suspicious of this building in particular. Maybe we could ask one of the matrons of the building about it, like what that mucus is,
Yeah, it's a good
and
idea.
let them, let our friends know about the dinner. But can
Yeah.
I do like a perception or some kind of check on the mucus itself, Jonathan? Like to see if I can recognize like what it comes from?
Sure. I don't know if I'll have an answer for you, but yeah. Hmm.
Like, why is it there? What did it come from? Is it, I mean, it's probably magical in nature, obviously, but what if it's from some creature that's sealing it or whatever?
Is
Yeah,
it
go
flammable?
ahead and give me a nature check. And Emmy, if you want to help her, you're more than welcome to, or if you want to roll your own thing, you can.
I'll
What's your modifier for nature?
I
-1.
for
I'm just kidding.
nature is it's a -1.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'll take
He's
your
not
help.
the brightest.
I
I'm
mean,
telling
I only have a +1 again, but
you.
15.
Yeah, so you do take a glance at it. Obviously, this is the windows are covered in natural lichen and mud and dirt over years of disuse. But the door itself seems to be purposely sealed. Um, I mentioned it's like it is wet and tarry, but after closer investigation, you can tell that it looks like some kind of like resin. And you can't tell whether it comes from some of the native trees around here or maybe some of the plants give off a resin like this. It may have been manipulated, right? Something may have been added to it to make it into like this thick, clear, adhesive kind of thing. But after you scratch off a piece of it, one of you takes out a dagger or something and kind of tries to chip away at it. And you do notice like just hints of Evie what you would notice to be like tree resin, like tree sap kind of thing. So it is somewhat natural, but nothing that either of you can recall would give off a resin like this that you could just use it, like how it's been used.
And whenever we scraped it off, did it like the stuff that's on the doors, did it like refill what got scraped? Is it staying off? Like,
No, no, no. It's not regenerative by any nature. What you were essentially able to get like shavings off of it. So like if you were to scrape it concrete, you would get like bits and pieces of that gravel grainy stuff. You're not really doing
Mhm.
much damage to it. Even Emmy tries to plunge a knife into it. It really is like it's just like a thick, sticky, just short of concrete style of adhesive. So
Mm.
it probably could be broken. You could probably get through it in a long amount of time if you were trying to bust it down. As Emmy suggested, it may budge, but it would take a considerable amount of damage to open this door, one way or the other.
I don't think we should draw that kind of attention to ourselves right now.
All right. Emmy's very disappointed she's not breaking anything.
I mean, we can go and try and clean the windows off and see if they're unlocked on the far side.
Okay. But if
But
that doesn't
I
work, can I punch through it and unlatch it?
I will say that in your attempts to go look through the windows earlier when I had you roll a persuasion check, I did include the portion of you guys kind of like trying to rub certain spots clean, but it's really just all dirty. There's nothing being just in robes and slippers. There's something that you guys have on you. I mean, in fact, I don't think either of you even have your spell casting focuses on you in order to cast spells, so to speak. So any attempts, you could dirty your robes, I guess, but you're really not going to get very well. It's just like covering mud with mud at this point.
Hmm.
But you could try again. I mean, if you want to roll something else, if you do want me to try to break something, yeah, you're gonna roll a bunch of stuff. But
I think we should go and tell the group about the dinner.
Yeah. And we could tell them about this shed too.
Yeah, I think we should tell them about both buildings, but specifically the shed. Yeah. All right, let's go back.
Definitely.
okay. As you approach, you finally you notice as you get closer that one of the Leslies has standing outside the back door, as if they're like awaiting your arrival again. As you approach, she kind of, again, like very stoic, no real reaction to you. It's just this weird vacant smile. But as you all approach, she steps off the path, off the side to let you through the door, and she just hands out two like wet rags to each of you. As you both notice that your hands are now, covered in grime and kind of dirt and things like that. Oh, and
Thanks,
she also
Leslie.
hands you a fresh pair of slippers.
Sit. Thanks.
No response, no reaction from Leslie.
Well, that's rude.
I don't trust her.
I don't either.
Alrighty, so you've investigated that. We'll switch over to the ADOM. I don't know what Alaric's doing this whole time. We'll just imagine that they're now,
Flirting with Seth.
yeah, her
Yeah.
and Saith are finding a dark corner somewhere, I guess.
It
Or rather, him and
looks like this
Saith.
one massage room is empty.
Yeah. Now it is. It had a Leslie in it, but Leslie went to go snoop on you guys. But yeah, so we'll just say Alaric for the time being until you guys meet up and group up. Alaric is just taking a tour with Saith, and Saith is showing off the rooms and things like that. So Emmy and Evie, one last look at the what they're calling a shed with the resin covered door. They're starting to come in through the back door. Kyle and Adom will go one more time with you, and then we'll figure out a place for you guys to rejoin, or you guys can do whatever you want after that.
Okay.
So,
Hey, Kyle, you notice anything weird about that tree you were climbing in earlier?
It smelled like rainbows.
Did it feel like it had any unusual magic presence?
This tastes purple.
It smelled like rainbows.
Do you mind doing me a favor and
Yeah.
climbing up the tree again? I noticed something odd when I was not looking at it, but not looking at it. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
Just caught something in the corner of my eye that doesn't seem to sit. It's like I can't detect it whenever I look at it, but whenever it's in my field of vision, just my peripheral vision, then all of a sudden it becomes more clear.
All right. Can I climb
Yeah, we
the
go.
tree, and I'm gonna become one with the tree?
Sure. Go ahead and
I
roll.
hug it, kiss it,
Yeah.
give it a tickle,
All right.
just look at it deeply, become one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead and
I'm
roll
ready.
a nature check for me. Let's see if your oneness pays off.
Okay. Sure. yours too.
Hmm.
Well, there it is.
The tree appreciates your advances, but it is not reciprocated. It is a platonic love between you and the tree.
Yeah.
The
But
tree's sexual.
yeah. It's it's a tree. You know, Kyle spent some time in it. Kyle spent some time in lots of trees, and you know, it's a nice tree. It does what it's supposed to do. It's got, you know, some birds chirping in there and things like that, but some insects. Other than that, Kyle doesn't recognize it as anything but a tree. And you know, the tree is not responding to its loving gazes, or his loving gazes, I should say.
It's a creatum. I don't know
Yeah.
what else.
So
Were you
I
talking
was
about in a magical sense, or less nature way?
in a magical sense. So okay, and this is now to, I guess, out of character to Jonathan DM.
Sure.
I was paying attention to Kyle as he walked up the tree, but now I want to see, like, I'm gonna like look away, but have it in the corner of my eye to see if I can detect anything with him in it.
Yeah.
Like if there's any hidden synergy
Sure.
behind
Sure.
people or anyone being in the tree.
Yeah,
So
I'll go
would
ahead.
that be a perception check?
Yeah, I'll let you roll in. What were you saying? It'll be a what check?
Sorry, perception.
In this case, it'll probably be investigation.
Oh, okay. What is my invest? Oh, okay, there it is. $13.
So,
I don't know.
how much do I want? I mean, you've taken some time investigating this tree. I will say this. Nothing really stands out to you at first. You know, you're doing everything you can. You observe Kyle climb up the tree, and nothing really stands out. And then you recall that uneasiness, or that blurriness, or that crossing of lines, or blurriness of lines, was really the most apparent when you weren't glancing directly at the tree. And so you take your attention off of the tree and kind of glance past it, so to speak, letting it leave your immediate vision. And at first, again, nothing. You still get that uneasiness that you received before. Maybe less of it now that Kyle's in the tree. But for the briefest second, I'll say this. For the briefest second, as Kyle is descending the tree, you know, you speak up to Kyle, and Kyle says, "Adam, I'm sorry, I don't see anything. You know, it's a normal tree for me. It climbs well." As Kyle starts to come down from the tree, out of the corner of your eye, you okay.
I'm sorry.
My goodness. As Kyle descends the tree, because I have children in my. Yeah, I'm just kidding. As Kyle descends the tree, Adam, you can kind of, you see that it looks like Kyle is about to step down on a branch, and it's as if the branch moves out of the way. And Kyle, you stumble just for a second, but you don't lose your balance. I mean, you're an experienced climber, whatever. You just missed a branch, and so you quickly find another and make your way down. But Adam, you're not sure if maybe you missaw. Maybe Kyle just misstepped. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe it was a trick of the light. Maybe it was whatever. But Adam is almost sure that the tree moved out of the way, that branch moved out of Kyle's way just as he was about to step on it. But that's really it. That's the only movement you see. That's the only reaction you've got. That's the only... nothing else is really standing about that tree. And again, you're not even sure that you saw it. You're not even sure that that's really what happened. But it could have.
Wait a second, Kyle. Before you get down from that tree, and
Okay.
this is me saying this while looking forward, like towards Rosalind and whatnot.
Sure, like off.
Yeah. Do you mind going back up and down the tree again?
Okay.
And this time, Adam is paying even more attention by not looking directly at it.
Sure. Yeah.
I do that.
Kyle scampers up and descends down the tree again. He certainly does not do the other thing. And Adam, I'll give you one more investigation check.
Okay.
I will say the DC for this one's going to probably be a little higher.
Understandably so.
Just because you're looking for, again, more minute details here. Trying to get in. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that's really the last thing you're getting from the tree. You know, Adam is still suspicious, you know, or something, right? Adam
I was so confused.
Adam is maybe Adam just really wanted to see you climb that tree, Kyle. Who knows? You know,
I do like trees.
yeah.
Yeah,
But you've done everything you can to force your mind to accept something that you're not even sure is there. And at this point, you're kind of at the juncture that maybe your mind is maybe your mind is playing tricks on you. Maybe you've been staring at this tree for so long that you know, you're seeing things that aren't there. You aren't sure. You still have this inkling in the back of your mind that something is there that shouldn't be, or something isn't there that should be, something of that nature. But you really just don't have the evidence to do anything else with that information. And so Kyle's scampering up and down the tree and seems to be enjoying himself. But yeah, unfortunately, nothing more comes of it.
Hey, I'm a signal to Kyle to come closer because, well, maybe not that. Approach,
Jesus,
my fellow brethren. Maybe not.
we've derailed.
Derailed.
Yeah.
Are you okay, man?
No.
It's just a tree.
Okay, we should probably do this in the next room where there's less people.
No.
We should probably save this rather. Damn, everything's so sus now.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
We got it. Phrasing. Okay. Everybody's cool. Everybody be cool.
Right.
Goodness.
you need some medicine? You look nervous. What's going on?
Did you notice anything when you were climbing up and down the tree in terms
No.
of your like pathing?
Look, Kyle grabs your hand. Listen.
I know my
it's
trees.
just a tree.
This is gonna sound odd to you,
Uh-huh.
but I could have sworn I saw a branch move away from you as you were stepping down from a tree. And I
Okay.
can't be certain, but it was in the corner of my eye.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's one of those things when, like, you see something and it's not actually happening. You know,
You sure?
it's probably one of those moments.
I don't want to, like, I know I didn't eat the food. So I know I'm not hallucinating here, but I don't know if my mind is playing tricks with me. Like, did you have like an awkward stumble or step or anything of the sort?
It was a really warm tree. I'm so out of character. Kyle's very concerned
Yeah.
about Adam, so he just wants to look at the tree again.
Yeah. Out
What
of
is going
character.
on?
It don't feel like he's being gaslit at the moment, so
Sure.
he doesn't know what to do. Like,
Kyle,
like,
you take a look at the tree as well. And you know, Adam points out. I will say this to you, Kyle. Adam, when he mentioned that, when he asked, like, did you stumble? Like, on your way down the first time, when you stumbled that one bit, you know, did you feel confident about that? Like, why did you stumble essentially? And Kyle, to Adam's point and in support of Adam, you do recall that moment. And Kyle, it was you know, you were pretty comfortable. You weren't doing anything crazy. It's not like you were doing acrobatics and stuff and, like, you know, I almost said, okay, never mind. It's not like you were doing anything crazy on the tree. You were just descending like you would normally. And you could have sworn that you were putting your one of your paws, one of your legs down in a firm place. There's no reason why that branch shouldn't have been there. And so you do recall the stumble. And, you know, you thought it was odd at the time, but at the same time, like, Kirkpa aren't perfect, right? You live in trees, but everyone trips and falls, right? Like humans walk on their legs all the time and they still stumble. So when Adom presents it to you, you know, it it does raise, I will say it raises a suspicion for you as well, because you were pretty confident in your footing there. There was not enough of a breeze. You weren't going fast enough to have made a mistake like that in most cases. And you could have sworn that there was a branch there before it just wasn't. So you can be concerned for Adom, and maybe that's fair. But you know, after glancing at the tree and listening to Adom's concerns, maybe some concerns raised for you too. Maybe that branch did move a little out of the way. You're not certain. You know, again, neither of you know. But the tree is making you uneasy at this point. I think you've narrowed it down. I think the first time I mentioned it was just something in this corner, and we mentioned that the tree was over here. But I think at this point, both Adom and Kyle's suspicions have narrowed down to the tree itself.
Like, Adam didn't say anything to Kyle after he went to take a look at the tree, but he's slowly losing his mind.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that.
So like,
can I
damn, did all
investigate tree
all
then?
the battle trauma catch up?
Say that again, Ryan.
Can I investigate the tree?
Um,
Since I haven't done that.
yeah, I'll give you an investigation check too.
Can I use enhance ability?
I don't think you have your spellcasting focus on you either. So, no.
Break.
I don't think any of you do. The only thing any of you are wearing currently is your robe and slippers.
Wait, do rangers have spell casting focus?
You either have a component pouch or you have a spellcasting focus. Yes, one of the two.
The component is a fur or feather from a beast.
If you're talking to your own fur or feather, I don't think that counts.
Okay. Oh, it's the mansion that it came from. Okay.
Let's see. Ranger. Spellcasting. Yeah, so Tasha's Cauldron and everything did add, essentially you can add a druidic focus. Or you can use a druidic focus, so you just use the same thing that druids use. It's a sprig of mistletoe, a totem, a wooden staff, or a yew wand.
I guess that would be my bow.
It does say actually, or an object incorporating feathers, fur, bones, and teeth from sacred animals. So you're cool, Kirk. You're cool, Kyle, but I wouldn't call you a sacred animal.
Okay.
So no, unfortunately, right now, no magic.
Understandable. Investigation. 15.
Yeah, that's about the same thing that Adom saw.
Okay.
You're looking at it from a different perspective now. You're doing your best, you know, as a Kirkpa, you're doing your best to see it as something more than a tree. And you know, you've climbed, you've ascended the tree three or four times now. You scampered amongst it. You've done everything that a Kirkpa can do, but you're trying your hardest to look at it from like an outsider's perspective and really look at it as something more than just a tree. And you start to see a little bit of what Adom is mentioning. It's the tree is still there, but as you look away from it, as your eyes lose focus of the tree, you know, you're glancing from side to side. It just seems like something is there, or something blurriness, something unnatural, so to speak, about the tree. And again, it's nothing that you can put your finger on. You know, neither you or Adom can confirm anything, other than, you know, just raising suspicions about the tree. There's nothing solid. There's nothing with hard evidence. It's just something is off about the tree.
Oh no! Now I'm losing my mind. Oh, great.
You did eat the food, so maybe it.
Okay. I see what you mean, Adon, but I don't think you can get much from it. He's muted.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
We're still
for
done here.
right now, you and Adom, you could only assume that it's just part of the magic of this place. There's nothing that you can put your finger on. Nothing necessarily nefarious. Maybe the tree has been blessed. Maybe the tree has been magically enhanced to grow taller or grow stronger or grow faster. You don't know. It could be anything. It could be nothing. It really could just be a trick of your minds, a trick of your eyes, like trying to see something that isn't there. But whether you and Adon choose to be suspicious of the tree from now on is completely up to you. For right now, the tree is contained to the garden. So unless
I'll
it
be right
shows
back.
okay, unless it shows up at your bedside, then I think we're okay for now.
Okay.
The tree just shows up longingly in Kyle's bed. I was just putting on a show for you, Kyle. I was playing hard to get. The tree playing hard to get with Kyle. Okay. Then I think that wraps up the adventures of Adom and Kyle for the moment. Emmy and Evie, you guys were heading back. You guys are near the door now, and heading inside. We'll say that you see Saith and Alaric staring longingly into each other's eyes in one of the rooms. So if you want to grab him, you're more than welcome to do so.
All right, hold on. Gotta move them out. Hey, Lark. Come on, let's go. Time to break it up.
All right, yeah. He falls in beside you and Emmy, and Saith like scurries out of the room and goes back to his desk.
Okay.
Don't worry, Laura. Nothing untoward is happening to Alaric while you're gone. Okay.
Nothing that she wouldn't want anyways, anyway.
Okay. Well, that's up to her. I'm not creating budding romances while the players aren't here.
Fair enough. All right. Let's go get Adom and Kyle and find somewhere private to update them.
Sure. Yeah. So Alaric informs you that, Saith did show her some of the rooms. If we'd like, we can take one of the rooms for the night. We will just have to, pay the cost. We'll say that Alaric, doesn't really go into the details, but Alaric did get you a discount.
Oh.
Just because of nice conversation. That's all it is. Nice conversation.
Wink, wink.
Let's see.
Elbows and
I'm trying to see how much. Lodging for visitors who want to stay overnight at the temple is available at a cost of 4 gold pieces per person. Meals cost 5 silver pieces, and the lounge offers a wide range of beverages. So I'm not really worried about it. Kyle and Emmy, if you haven't already removed the 5 silver pieces for your meal, then go ahead and take those. But if not, I don't care. It's 5 silver pieces. Probably nothing. Half a gold. But each of you will have to pay, we'll say 3 gold pieces per person in order to stay over the night. But that will give you like a private place to talk if you wish to do that.
Okay.
I thought I already paid for the overnight stay.
You paid for entry to the bathhouse. Entry into this place costs 5 gold pieces, and it allows you access to the lounge area, the garden, the bathhouse, the grounds. But it does not include like a meal or anything.
Okay. Well, let's pay Saith about it, and then grab Kyle and Adom, go to our room, and let them know about our invite for dinner tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can all go into the entry area. Oh, you guys are connected. Did I connect you? Did you connect them?
No, I did.
Way to go, Emmy. Inspiration to Emmy. Proud of you.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, perfect. So actually, can you move Emmy by yourself? But if you move Alaric, it moves both of you. Funny. So yeah, Saith arranges everything. If you'd like. So what we're gonna do.
I was just staring at Saith. Stare.
Just staring at Saith. Okay.
Deep stare.
We're going to say that you guys are claiming these south 2 rooms. We're going to just assume that there's a door here, or rather that the door can be magically put here. And then yeah, we'll say there's enough room, enough people at the inn. Like an extra bed can be arranged. So you guys will have these 2 doors.
We can't see those.
Well, you will in a second, but I'm arranging some things.
Okay.
Some tokens. Okay, so we'll go ahead and clear some stuff. Boop. 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 Okay, so if you will, I'll go ahead and deduct the 5 gold pieces from Alaric's inventory sheet. If you guys would like to deduct 5, or I'm sorry, not 5, it's 3. 3. 3 gold pieces from each of your inventories as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can now move your characters over into these 2 rooms.
Can before we go there, can I ask Saith about the tree?
Sure. Yeah. What would you like to ask him?
Hey, Saith, that tree over there is acting weird.
He glanced at you. He's like, the tree is acting weird. How so? How is it?
Started moving a bit.
Could it perhaps have been the wind?
You know, you would think that.
you would think it would be the wind.
You know, as when I was climbing down from it, like it seemed like it moved its branch on its own, so I could fall.
That is quite strange. I will say. I'm sure you're aware, and if you've talked to any of the matrons, they might have mentioned this place is very magical. I can't imagine
the tree
why
was
the
trying to kill me.
tree would move, but I don't know. I'll have Azarissa look into it. If any of the garden is acting up, that's kind of her realm of responsibility at the moment. So I'll certainly discuss it with them.
A garden acting up?
Well, you know, I just mean if the tree is certainly moving, then I would call that acting up. We don't want any of our other customers to be injured. Maybe they're not all as adept at climbing trees as Kyle is here, obviously.
I'm gonna call that tree Maokai.
Maokai the tree.
Well, it is what it is. Let's get to our rooms.
I was trying to kill people.
Already. Yep. So Saith goes ahead and shows you to your rooms. You all just boop, 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 follow Saith. Boop, 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 boop. Waddle, waddle. Saith stands off to the side. Again, there's a door here, there's a door here, and we're gonna pretend there's a door here. And a extra bed. I don't know. Or whatever you guys prefer to sleep in.
Why can't I move my thing?
Yeah, I can't move mine either.
Can't move your tokens?
No.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Everything. I can't move anything. I can move Kyle's token. Oh, did one of you guys lock it? Okay, Evie should be unlocked. Evie, you can clear yours.
Okay.
Emmy's is unlocked. Alaric is unlocked. Okay, and okay, we should be all good.
Okay.
Can I ask Saith to bring if we could bring our stuff from the other room changing rooms to
Oh yeah.
to these rooms?
Yes. I'll actually have that arranged for you.
Nobody's touching my stuff. I'll get it myself.
Then yes, of course. There are trunks here that you can lock your belongings in. The rules still do apply, however. The only thing to be worn throughout the temple will be your robes and your slippers. Inside your rooms, you can wear whatever you're comfortable with, but out here, just the robes and slippers, please. A fresh robe and a fresh set of slippers will be provided to you each morning when you wake up.
Yep, understandable.
Then, yes, of course. He turns to the rest of you. Would the rest of you like to gather your gear as well, or would you like it to be brought to you?
I mean, I guess we can just go grab it so Kyle doesn't go by himself.
Okay. Then perfect. You don't have to actually go get it, Kyle. You could just we'll just okay. Kyle runs off. Everyone kind of follows behind. Gear is grabbed. Your keys are turned into the front desk. No reason to have the locker keys if you have your own. So they are swapped out. The keys for the changing rooms are swapped out for the keys to the bedroom chests. Each of you are given one, and your gear is safely stored away in the chest at the foot of each bed. Yeah. One of these, a little hammock is placed underneath towards one of the walls so that, whoever wants to sleep in a little hammock can do that if they prefer rather than a bed. Since there are so many of you. All right.
I call dibs on this room.
Saith goes ahead and disappears. What you can only assume is back to the lobby. Oop. Disappearing. Shadows. All right. And Gatom said he's going to be right back. We'll put guess we can always do I guess the guys and girls, split them up. I guess it doesn't really matter. There's a door here, so whether you keep it open or not, Lara can be an honorary girl for today.
Okay. We're gonna have the door open for conversation's sake.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so you guys have settled into your rooms. You guys have paid what was necessary. Leslie does appear to be here to make sure everything is accounted for. However, she doesn't seem to respond to anything that you say or do, and the outer doors are closed. So, are you standing out in the hallway, Kyle?
What is
There's a
the
door
Leslie
here.
doing? Is the Leslie just staring at us?
Just doing Leslie things,
I'm back. Sorry, am I supposed to be in this room?
Yeah, correct. Everyone is in that room at the moment.
Can I ask the Leslie to go away?
If you'd like to ask her for some privacy, sure.
Can I ask some privacy, Leslie?
She skirts on. She just nods and smiles and comes down to the corner here. She doesn't actually leave the hallway, but she leaves the room side, I suppose.
Bring me some peanuts when you come back. Bye.
Sure.
Get in here.
Okay, that brown thing here, I just made a door. You're welcome. It's a door.
Okay.
Yeah, so the door was magicked in place. Before Saith left, he kind of did his little finger snap thing, and a door appeared there to create conjoining rooms.
Yo.
Okay. So
we hugged the tree.
was it good for you?
Well, for me, not for Adam. He's losing his mind.
Well, Emmy and we went out back for a little bit, and there was a tower and a stone building, and the stone building had this really weird resin on the doors. It's sealed, so we couldn't get in, and we think there might have been someone in the tower, but there was a lot of curtains, so we really couldn't see very well. But before that, we got invited to a dinner by the sisters. They have a job
Ooh.
for us, I think.
Ooh, food. I like food.
So, do you guys want to officially accept that invitation and go to the dinner tonight?
I mean, sure, if we're not doing anything else. um,
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Something came up when I talked to the drow called well, how do you pronounce his name again? General
Jarlaxle. I believe I put it in the
Jarlaxle.
Discord. I think, well, it may have been buried in squirrel memes, but it's, yeah, Jarlaxle.
General
Have I? Oh, I should probably give you his, I don't think, oh yeah, you've met him. If you scroll down, you've got all their names there. Everyone you've met so far. I don't have the halflings there. I guess I can add those.
Something that he said that caught my attention was that the sisters
Thanks.
got them. The sisters didn't make this space; they got it from someone, or it was passed down to them.
Didn't?
So, yeah.
No, sorry, finish.
No, that was it.
I was gonna ask Jonathan, didn't whenever Emmy and I were talking to Morgana, didn't she say like that they found it or and kind of took it over?
I may have said that. If you're asking me to remember, that's just too much for me, but
Pretty sure she told us like how they got started.
then yeah. Ask me a specific question so I can answer it. I'm sorry.
I thought I did, but okay.
You probably did. I'm not listening. Go. I was trying to find the picture of these halflings that you guys had talked to.
I was asking, like during the conversation that Emmy and I had with Morgana, didn't she tell us like the origin of how they started this like the spa thing? The retreat.
I'm not. That sounds like something that I would say or that we would talk about. So we're gonna say sure. What I'll tell you just to keep some continuity going is that we'll say that um, the sisters took over ownership of the temple approximately 10 years ago is what we'll say.
Okay.
Just to make sure that everyone is on the same page.
Okay.
I think that will be suitable. If you remember anything else, let me know and we can adjust that. But I think that makes the most sense at this point.
Okay.
Okay. Why won't you let me? Oh, that's why, because you're all locked. Gosh darn it. I'm sorry, I was locking these so we couldn't be moved, and then I realized that they were out of order, and that bugged me, and now I'm trying to reorder them, and that's bugging me too. Okay, so you had the conversation about about the tree briefly. You had a conversation revealing that they were invited to a dinner, and you've had the conversation that that kind of confirms two things that people have heard, one from Jarlaxle and one from Morgana, that this place was more or less inherited or was gotten 10 years ago.
And I told them about the buildings out back and like a description of them.
Perfect.
Did the goo seem like did it seem similar as to the Icar from the plague?
Nah, it looked and felt like tree resin, like a sap, like hardened.
Okay.
But it would take a lot of effort to bust it open, and I just really didn't think that drawing that kind of attention to ourselves was a good idea right now. especially whenever we just got invited to a dinner for a potential job.
True. Good job.
Thanks. But there was this like really large weird thing in the back. It was super hard to see in there because of all the dirt and the grime. It's been abandoned for like a while, you can tell.
Well, all I can say is that everything goes well. We just go there and bust it open.
Maybe. Or maybe they'll want us to go in there. I don't know.
True.
But I
Okay.
definitely think there was someone in the tower.
Oh yeah, the tower on the left.
On the right.
On the right, I mean. That I meant right.
The other left.
The
I got
other
you.
left. The other right, yeah. Okay, I think this is all the people. If you scroll down, I think I've tried to organize this as best as I can before we move on. All their names should be presented to you as well. So you have the three sisters, Azarissa, Morgana, and Greensong. You have all the employees, the people that work here. So you have Saith, you have our friend Ilmar here, good old Morty, and then you have all of our Leslies. And then you have the actual customers here, the people who are visiting. So you've met Jarlaxle, you've seen the rock gnome, you've met, kind of discussed or had brief conversation with the halflings. I believe a brief conversation was had with Alaric and Kyle. Adom mentioned maybe recognizing, I think Fensel is what we're calling him now because I don't feel like saying his name over and over again. Fensel it is. And then the merchant couple, Hjalrin, and I think the only person you haven't really talked to. Well, you haven't talked to Siltorin, and you haven't talked to Merver. And you really haven't had conversations with the halflings or the merchant couple, but you've talked to them briefly. Mostly Kyle when he was part of the competition. But I think other than that, that's pretty much all you've met. So they should be organized. Their names are down there if you get confused. Boop. Okay, so is there anything that you all would like to do before the dinner? Otherwise, we'll just do a little time skip and you guys can rest or talk or converse and discuss all the weirdness. We can just pretend that it's taking a while.
Does Kyle and Adam have any more to tell us about the weird tree? Other than that, Kyle climbed it.
Well, we don't know. I think we're losing it. Okay.
Unfortunately, not. I only seem to see more of the tree when I'm not looking at it.
We think it's moving by itself.
Like it has its own consciousness?
I
Something,
don't know.
maybe.
When I was climbing down, it moved its branch so I could fall.
Oh, well, maybe because you climbed it without consent.
Probably. You know, it happens
Break the
sometimes.
tree, it didn't embrace back.
It happens.
Okay.
It happens.
Well, next time, consent first, not after, and maybe the tree won't try and hurt you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. It's a good life lesson.
Right.
Always ask consent before mounting. Okay. Well then, yeah, we'll just do a quick time skip. And we'll assume that it's dinner time. So as you all are continuing your discussions, you're resting, sorting through your gear, making sure that you have everything. You're starting to put pieces together, like, little oddities about this place. And again, the place is magical, but you have found some, weird things. You have this beautiful tower, behind the temple, and then you have this not beautiful, this rundown, kind of destroyed shed, building, whatever you guys want to call it, just to the west of that. You have a massage parlor set up in the back of the temple, but it's got some weird potions in it. You know, a potion of slipperiness is not something that you'd always find in a massage parlor. You have a beautiful garden that can only be seen from the inside, right? You can see out of it, but you can't see into it. And one of the oddities of that place is a rather large tree that may or may not have magical properties associated with it. And so this place, you know, there's nothing so far is ringing any like crazy alarm bells. There's some weirdness, but you know, what place have you guys been that didn't have any weirdness? I mean, Candlekeep is full of it, right? I mean, Candlekeep is literally a magical library. There's magic everywhere. So a building or a place like this that, you know, adjusts itself to its needs, like its owner's needs, is not really the most unusual thing, and not anything that you've experienced, or not anything that you haven't experienced already. So little things that could be put together and that make you a little uncomfortable at times, but it's nothing you haven't dealt with before, and no real alarm bells are ringing at the moment. But rather than alarm bells ringing after a few hours, you can hear a similar bell or a similar ringing that you heard at lunchtime. And you can only assume that dinner is served. And as you all come out of the hallway, rather than a lot of the patrons coming to or leaving their rooms, you actually see a lot of Leslie's delivering food to people instead. No one shows up at your door, but all of the Leslies appear with a tray, and they all are delivering their food. So let me move some people around to make sure that they're all in their respective rooms. If I can make this happen. Do I really have... Oh, I forgot. You guys can see that. Not that it matters again, but...
Question.
Answer, I hope.
Fratrax didn't leave any notes on the book, right?
None that you found, no. None that you know of.
Can I double check the book?
You don't have the book.
We don't.
Sounds like we were highly
It
unprepared.
opened up a big portal for you, and you walked through it.
Just a little bit.
But why would we leave the book though?
Why would you take the book?
Because so we can open the portal again. I don't know.
Oh no,
I
it's a
don't know.
one-way trip.
It's like,
Okay.
I think I have everybody moved. I think. Maybe. Okay. You over there, sure. Okay. Yeah, so as I mentioned, you walk out and you briefly get glimpses of, you know, the area around you. These, please don't take note of where everybody is. I have like one more person per like one more person than I have beds or something like that. I think before I was going to put you guys in this big room and split some people up, but it doesn't even matter anymore. So as you see some of the doors open, you get a glimpse of some of the people that you've seen before. So Siltorin opens his door and takes his dinner tray from Leslie, and then the door is closed. And same thing happens all the way down. Hjolnor comes in here. We're going to say these are split rooms just because... but Jarlaxle and Merver are given their food. Finsel and Alric are given theirs, and then the couples both receive their food as well. And then the doors are quickly closed as you guys come down the hallways. As you proceed down, the Leslies, you know, they turn away from their door and they just kind of like, again, it's just that smile and nod, and they don't, their hands are empty now, so their hands are essentially at their sides, and they're just creepily staring at you guys as you walk down the hallway. and push on through and enter into the lounge where boop, the party will be. I think I can grab all of you. So down the hallway, boop, 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 and then over to here. And you can see that the sisters are seated around a table. We'll pretend. Oh, I don't want to take that with me. That was
Don't need the door.
the door for
We
protection.
just take the door.
My security door. It's like a safety blanket, only large, and solid. So we're gonna pretend that there's enough room. You guys can all sit around here. But you do arrive, and the sisters are all sitting around the table. Whether you decide to join them is really up to you. But Emmy, you were up first. As I mentioned, you were invited.
We're sitting here.
You can sit wherever you want, but I will say that it has been implied that yes, you are expected. Ignore the chairs. There's enough chairs. We'll just pretend the table's big enough. You are expected to sit with the sisters if you so choose.
I'll turn to the group and next, should we sit with the sisters?
Well, they invited us to dinner.
No, what?
Yeah.
You got me there. We'll just sit with the sisters.
Okay.
And I mean, we'll say hello.
They greet you as well. Please have a seat. Thank you. Gonna move you guys into the are you so Alaric is attached? You are attached to Alaric. Let me detach you. I'm going to attach Alaric to you. So Emmy, when you move, Alaric moves. But when Alaric can move separately. Okay. Let's see. Daniel is muted. We're going to assume for the sake of clarity that Daniel goes ahead and has a seat next to the table as well. I'm just going to move everybody around the table so you all have room. Okay, so we're all sitting around the table. Yeah.
Yo,
Mhm.
Any objections? Okay, perfect.
thank you for the invite.
Yes, of course. They each take turns kind of speaking. You guys get a better look at them, I suppose. You can get a better picture of who they are. I don't think any of you have interacted with all of them yet, so this is the first time that some of you may be seeing Azarissa really, or seeing Green Song, or seeing Morgana up close, but they are there. They are all the matrons of this place, the current owners, and Morgana, again, you all finally place the sound, if you hadn't already, as Morgana snaps her fingers, and sure enough, a Leslie comes out with a tray of food and kind of squeezes between, pretty lively squeezes between the two of you and places it on the table. And it is, again, delicious looking food. It is a good spread. Anything that you guys could want or imagine or think that your character would be eating. In fact, that'd be fun. Emmy, what are you looking for? What would you like in this dinner? What do you think Emmy's favorite food is?
Something that won't poison her again.
That's fair. Is there anything that Emmy likes? Anything? Let's say that's non-poisonous food. What is Emmy's go-to meal when she's, it could be a comfort food. It could be something when she's on the road. Something that she looks for. Maybe it's something that's like in every tavern, right? Every tavern has this, so Emmy just knows it's going to be decent. Like, what do you think Emmy is interested in?
My first thought was mutton.
Mutton? Okay, perfect. Yeah, there's certainly mutton on the table. and it looks great. It doesn't look like your general tavern mutton. It looks like it was actually prepared well, and is pretty delicious. Evie, what are we thinking?
Freshly picked for a fruit salad.
Oh yeah, there's definitely plenty of fruits. There's delicious, apples and what appear to be grapes and strawberries and things that are even out of season in a lot of places. Seems to be pretty fresh, pretty ripe, and definitely delicious. Adam, if you're there.
T-bone steak, mashed potatoes, hella broccoli.
Hell yeah. There are certainly steak. There may not be mashed potatoes. They're like roasted potatoes, but there is definitely a delicious steak there for you. Some roasted potatoes, and then there are various steamed broccoli and roasted broccoli, whichever you'd prefer. Kyle, what's your food of choice?
I'm not sure. Tuna salad, I guess.
Tuna salad. So we'll say that there's probably not a tuna salad. We'll say that there's probably a fresh,
Salad.
fresh like.
Sprinkle with peanuts.
Okay, there's definitely greens on the table that you can make a salad from. There is probably some baked fish there as well. Something maybe even baked or steamed or whatever. There are various things to cover all of your appetites. I'm not sure what Alaric would like. We can ask them next time, but yeah. Regardless, each of you has something that looks delicious and definitely encourages your appetite. And as the others sit around and they graciously offer their food to you, like, please eat. Each of them in turns grabs the thing that they're most interested in. For Greensong, it's a lot of the fresh vegetables and the fresh fruit, similar to what Evie's eating. For Azarissa, it's definitely the steak and potatoes. She's digging in just like Adam is, grabbing arguably the biggest steak on the table, and steak and potatoes is essentially her meal. She doesn't care much about the vegetables. So Adam, you can have all the broccoli you want. Morgana, she's more of a fish and salad person, so she takes some of the steamed or baked fish that Kyle's interested in, as well as some of the fresh greens. And Morgana probably has the most well-rounded plate as far as like meats and starches and fish and vegetables and fruits and things like that. So Greensong appears to be mostly picking at all the vegetables, so maybe she is mostly vegetarian, but from this it's hard to say. But you guys all are invited to eat, and each of you, I do need to roll a Constitution. Oh, I'm sorry. Are all of you choosing to eat? I guess I should ask that first. That was probably assumed, or I was assuming, but I don't want to assume for you. Are all of you choosing to eat?
Adam was hesitant the first time, but this time around, the steak is getting to him.
That's fair.
I guess I don't know why I wouldn't eat food.
Yeah, I mean, there's so some of you, like I said, I'm giving everyone the option. Adam and Evie didn't eat before, so arguably they may be more hungry. Kyle, Emmy, and Alaric, you guys did eat lunch, but Emmy got sick, so it could be one of those things where Emmy takes it light. Emmy only takes a couple things. She doesn't dig into all of her food, but or maybe her appetite's back. Like I said, she's not doesn't have any physical ailments as of now. The sickness passed very quickly, but it could be just reservation, something like that. Maybe you're waiting for your host to eat, maybe any number of things. So I was just, is anybody not eating, I guess, is the way to cover everybody's bases.
I think I'll eat this time. Like, I think Evie's going to be hesitant and wait for the women to eat first, but I think she's like so hungry from earlier that she'll end up eating.
Sure. Yeah, it has been a full day.
Yeah.
And
Adam's ration trying to slip.
Perfect. And yeah, I'll say, like I said, one of the reasons I mentioned what the ladies were eating is because they're covering everything. Everything they are eating, or they're putting everything on their plate that you guys might put on yours. So it was kind of just a gesture of like, they're not nothing seems to be off, right? They're not avoiding anything at the table, so
Mhm.
you don't have to avoid anything either, kind of thing.
Okay.
Constitution.
Yes, please. Everyone roll a Constitution check. I will go ahead and roll for Alaric.
Constitution check or Constitution saving throw?
Saving throw. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
Well, I have a
Can I
0,
use
so-
inspiration?
Sure. I've not told you whether it succeeds or
Oh,
not. so-
wow.
I mean, I'll save it then.
Damn.
I'll save it.
Okay,
bro,
Alaric.
I haven't
Alaric rolled
rolling like
a
shit.
17. Okay, yeah, you all suffer no ill consequences of the food. It seems that, if there was anything in the food at lunch that affected Emmy, it doesn't seem to be there now. All of you are able to eat, and while some of you do start a little hesitantly, after the first couple of bites and not feeling anything, you continue to eat like normal. And the sisters don't show anything abnormal either. They are eating. They're eating just casually. They're not in a rush. They're not, like I said, not avoiding anything. They're just casually eating their dinner and enjoying the food. So, and you can, even Azarissa and Morgana both compliment Greensong on the meal. Azarissa mentions, sister, this steak is cooked perfectly. Thank you. And Greensong, nods her head, and Morgana does the same thing. And, yes, these vegetables, did you just pick them this morning? And Greensong nods her head. Yes, sister, they're fresh from the gardens. I picked them specially just for you. And they're having just casual conversation amongst sisters, and everything is normal, nothing out of the ordinary. But I will give you that's a first glance. So before any conversation starts, each of you will get a turn to do what you like. So Emmy, you are up first. Anything that you would like to do? Are you awaiting for the sisters to make the first move or say the first thing, or are you brave enough to initiate the conversation?
First, he's gonna say, "Thank the gods I've not poisoned this time."
Oh my god.
She says it to herself though, not out
Oh,
loud.
okay, yeah. No poison.
I don't think she'll say anything. I think she's just gonna, since it's food that she can finally eat, she's just gonna stuff her face.
Sure, yeah. So Emmy's more interested in the food. No worries there. Evie.
First I wanted to thank you for the meal. It's lovely and delicious. But we went ahead and informed our friends that you had a potential job interest for us. If you could maybe tell us more about that.
Uh, yes, of course. We can do it now if you'd like, or we can wait for after the meal. It's up to you. As you can see, I requested that the other visitors dine in their rooms this evening. I was hoping that we could have a more private and candid conversation, and unfortunately, the lounge is probably the best place to do that. And Azarissa, Azarissa chimes in with pretty much a mouthful of steak and potatoes. She's like, "We could have just had it in the garden." And Morgana kind of glances over at her and, uh, yes, sister, you have a good point. I didn't quite think about that. Regardless, what's done is done now, and we have the room to ourselves. So it is up to you. We can continue with dinner and a polite conversation, or we can go straight to business, whichever you prefer.
Kyle, did you want to ask about your incident?
Yeah, or Adom, I guess, as Adom.
Or
Oh, I
Adom?
don't know if Daniel's muted. I don't know if
I feel like
Daniel's back.
Adam is more concerned about it than me.
And
Oh.
he's gone.
Oh, and he's back.
And he's gone.
All right.
My
Howdy, partner.
What'd you say?
Did you want to talk to Azarissa about the tree incident?
Yes, absolutely. So, Azarissa, as we were all in the garden, doing our things, I noticed something very interesting about the tree back there. And by notice something interesting, I mean the less I looked at it, the more I saw from it. Is there any reason that that's a thing?
Azarissa again takes a big old swallow. You know, she's chewing. You can see her like trying to work through um through the bite that she's shoving into her mouth, just full of steak and potatoes, and she does take a big swallow and um you mean alder.
Is that the name of the tree?
It's a type of tree.
Well, that's what he says. His name is Alder. He's not an alder tree, so I'm not sure where he got that name, but that's what he calls himself, so that's what we call him. I assume you're referring to him, right?
I apparently so.
Yeah, he's we're not entirely sure what Alder is. He's been with this place, I'm guessing. The last owner said he'd been there as long as she had, and I'm from what we're told is he was planted here as a sapling when the temple was first constructed out in the garden, but as he grew, I guess the magic of this place has kind of seeped into him as well. So, he's not really sentient. He's not really a fully magical tree. He's not fully awakened yet, but we think maybe in the next century or so he'll finally start to do other things. But I don't know. Some of the other customers, some of the other visitors have claimed to see him, reach out and poke a person or two. But did he harm any of you?
No, not
Well,
in particular.
about that, as I was climbing the tree and when I was coming down, I'm not sure. I think he was trying to make me fall from the tree.
Make you fall? How? And Morgana and Greensong both speak up. He made you fall. What did he do?
Oh no. He just
But-
moved the branch, so it made it seem like I was gonna fall.
Yeah, and I only partially witnessed it.
Yeah, that's probably my fault. He's a little bit of a practical joker, like I said. He probably saw that you were pretty adept at climbing. I can imagine with the paws and the claws, you're pretty good at that. Not many of the visitors climb him, so he might have just not wanted you up there, or he might have just been testing you. It's hard to tell with Alder, but he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't really know what he's doing all the time. He sleeps more than anything else. So, Morgana, maybe I should do my best to put him to sleep while we have more visitors here. And Morgana kind of nods her head. Yes, I hate to interfere with his awakening, but if he's harming our visitors, it may be best to I don't know, use more magic. And Arissa responds, I'll be careful. It's nothing. I don't want to harm him either. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. And we're usually pretty good about keeping him quiet and keeping him sleeping when the visitors arrive, but it's hard to tell with a tree that old.
Thank you for verifying my mental state.
Yeah, of course. Sorry you had to be so confused for so long.
It's okay.
Adom looks at Kyle with like a grim amusement. I told you there's something wrong with the damn tree.
Yo,
There's something wrong.
tweak it.
All right, so now I have to change that tree's name because I just made it up.
On the spot, nice.
You said Alder, and I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, here we are. Perfect. So, yeah, now you know the mystery of the tree.
It's alive.
It's alive. Okay. So you all continue your conversation, talk more about Alder. Is there anyone else? Anyone else had any other conversations or anything else they'd like to ask, particularly about this place, before we go on to business? Or would you like
Yes.
to?
What? And I mean, no offense in this question, but what is the deal with all the Leslies?
But Morgana, as Arisic almost chokes on her food, and even Greensong kind of like dabs at her mouth like she's kind of swallowing and doesn't put anything. It like raises a napkin up to her face, and Morgana politely like takes a deep breath and places her hands in her laps and places her hands in her lap and responds like, I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
Primey.
Well, they're all twin sisters. Well, twins
You're
isn't
right. I
twins
don't
isn't
believe that.
twins isn't the correct word for it. Octuplets. How many of them are there? And Greensong kind of like again responds, 8 of them, I believe. Octuplets. I think octuplets is correct. Right. I think there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You guys can't see one. It's over here. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there we go. Then we're gonna, yes, octuplets. Their mother couldn't conceive for the longest time, and she came to see us, and well, not us. She came to see a previous owner, proprietor, mistress, master, whatever you want to call owner of this place, the person in charge, and well, the proprietor mentioned that if she spent some time here and relaxed, sometimes people have trouble conceiving and having a baby when they're stressed, and if they put too much thought into it, it just won't happen. So the proprietor encouraged the mother to stay here and relax, and well, let's just say a baby was conceived, and not just one baby and not just 2 babies, but 8 babies. You see, one of the other visitors here at the time, well, let's just say they weren't who they appeared to be. And, well, the babies didn't come out normal either. I don't really know. They've been here since we have, but when they came out, they all had that creepy smile on their face, and they never spoke and they never did anything, and the mom did her best to raise them, but that smile just kept well, she said it gave her nightmares. And so she turned the babies over to the temple, and they were raised to be servants, for lack of a better word. They have a lodge, they have a place to sleep out in the grounds, and they return there and take their breaks when they need them, but they don't seem to sleep much, and they don't need much food, and they don't say anything, but they listen well enough, and we just let them continue to work here, I suppose is the best way to say it. They have no interest in leaving. They really don't have any interest in anything, really. And
so they're human?
Part human, at least. We don't know the other part.
Okay.
I imagine it's some kind of creature that has lots of babies, because human women aren't known to give birth to 8 at a time. But your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, but all Leslie?
The mother couldn't tell them apart. As you can see, they're identical. I'm sure you've taken the time to, look at them. Most visitors do, and the mother couldn't tell them apart, and she named the first one Leslie, and they just kept coming out, and they they all look the same to her, so the mother just named them Leslie. So, there we go.
Well, thank you for that. We were definitely curious, especially because the creepy smile.
It is a little unnerving, but you do get used to it. They mean no harm. That just their default face.
Didn't Emmy see one of them like kind of break a little bit when she was throwing up or something?
Laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she cringed because Emmy threw up or something. What did you say, Emmy? I don't remember. I think she gave Emmy a face when she threw up for like the second time or something. But
Yeah, it was
I was
maybe like
laughing and I
the
spit
second
water
time.
out.
oh,
And
that's
she
right. You're right, Emmy.
glared
Yeah.
at me, I think, and so Emmy stared back at her.
Yeah, they do show some kind of personality every once in a while, but um, you know, when you get to know them, they have their little individualities. They're not carbon copies of each other. They're just identical and unfortunately aren't all there mentally. I imagine that's also the comes from the side of the father. From what I hear, the mother was a very intelligent person, but that's really all we got.
Okay. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Uh, yes, of course. Not many of our visitors ask about the Leslies. They, maybe they're too afraid to, but they are people. We do our best to treat them as kindly as we can.
We just weren't sure because there's been a couple times where we've spoken to them and they didn't even say anything. So
I'm not even sure if they can speak, to be honest.
fair enough.
What a day.
Okay. So Leslie's been asked about. After the conversation, everybody's still eating and listening to the Leslie story. They all um, they kind of settle in, and eventually they get, I guess, kind of down to business. Morgana again starts up. Well, I am guessing you've. It's about time that we discussed uh, an issue, so to speak. You are all adventurers, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Rectamundo.
And from our brief conversation with Evie and Emmy, it appears that that you all came here not really necessarily to enjoy the temple, but looking for someone, I believe. Falthrax was his name?
Rectamundo.
Well, the three of us have discussed it, and unfortunately, none of us recognize that name, and we've discussed it with Saith as well. And Saith, she points over, and you all see Saith standing by the door, just you know, being Saith. Um,
I stare at Seath deeply.
and you're staring at Saith as well.
Again, yeah.
Okay, you're just staring at people. You stare at Azarus, you stare at the tree, you stare at Saith. Um,
Yep.
we've discussed it, and that name doesn't ring any bells. It's possible that um, that Falthrax gave a false name. I can go back through records and see if any other dwarf visitors have come in the last few days, but most of us only know of Fjallron, so we're not sure. But that being said, we do have contacts throughout the rest of the forest here. I mentioned before that Green Song gets a lot of her fresh vegetables, the things that can't be grown here, from farmers all around the high forest. And Azarissa has contacts with some of the hunters. They bring us fresh game. We can ask the next time that it is available to see if they have come across any Dwarven kind or anyone by the name of Falthrax. But in order to, I guess, solidify a bargain, so to speak, our help for yours, there is a concern that we have here at the temple, and we were hoping that you could help us resolve it. And it is of the adventuring sort of issue.
Okay. Go on.
Well, we hate to say it. It's not something that we like talking about much, but the bath houses are occupied by another type of creature, and that creature seems to hate me and or us, the sisters, the Saith and the Leslies. She won't let us in there at all. The visitors she seems fine with, but not us. It's quite disconcerting. We believe that it's a naiad, and we were hoping that you all could get rid of it for us. Greensong kind of whispers over to Morgana, and Morgana continues. Oh, yes. We did discuss it. It's nothing that you need to decide on now. I recommend that you all just enjoy the meal and have a good night's sleep, and then in the morning you can give us give us your answer. It would have to be taken care of at night, though. I don't believe it's not proper for us to kick the visitors out of the bathhouses during the day, and it's probably best if something like a naiad was taken care of at night when all the visitors were asleep. But if you were willing to help us, we could help you. We will reach out to our contacts and see if Valthrax can be found out in the forest somewhere.
Evie's gonna look at her friends and kind of shrug and say, "Sounds good to me. What do you guys think?"
Sounds like a good deal. Have you spoken to this naiad?
As I said, it doesn't allow us in the bathhouse. I don't know why it's just us. Greensong kind of interrupts, and in her more sing-songy voice that I can't do because it doesn't work for you. I'm sorry. But naiads are fickle creatures. It's quite possible that the naiad believes that that bathhouse is her property. It's quite possible that the stream, the hot spring that flows underneath the bathhouse that keeps the stream warm, is her property. But because the water flows up into the bathhouse, she thinks it belongs to her. And well, we claim ownership over the temple, and she claims ownership over the bathhouses. And like I said, she lets the visitors in. She doesn't seem offended by their visitation. It could just be a matter of ownership. She doesn't want to give up quote unquote rights to her water. She doesn't want to give up ownership of her hot spring. And we were hoping when we first took over the business that she would only be at one location. But it seems that as the temple moves, she moves with it.
Interesting. Out of character, would we know anything about naiads?
That is a good question. If someone can explain to me why they might know something about naiads, I can do my best to help you
Are
out.
they in the Feywild?
Naiads are Fey, actually, yeah.
So would that be enough for Evie to know about them then?
Yeah, I'll give you both. Yep, you guys can roll either a history check or a nature check, in regards to naiads. You and Kyle both.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like I would only hear about them in like stories, like in
Yeah.
storybooks and stuff like that.
And the others, I don't know why
Something
Alaric would know about naiads.
Damn.
Emmy, but Adom, any reason you guys would know about naiads?
What was the history?
History or nature, whichever is easiest for you, whichever's best.
They're both the same. Jesus, nope.
We got the same thing.
I've been so bad today.
We were being told the same nighttime stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can give you like anything, whether it's important or not. So, through conversation with the sisters, maybe just gathering more information, and the two of you sharing what you do know. You do know that the naiads, they're very rarely seen, but they are water spirits. And they tend to live in what are called the sisters. The sisters are a set of waterfalls that run over the cliffs here. I think I've shown you a picture of the map, but the Unicorn Run and Star Mounts is part of the High Forest, and the sisters seem to. Well, those are the sisters. Those are what they're called. There's waterfalls that run over those cliffs, and typically the Naiads live there. There's a community of them that live there, and yeah, I mean they're essentially like chaotic water spirits. Um, they're not really good or bad necessarily. They kind of live to their own devices, um, but they exist. They exist in various rivers and lakes and places usually where magic is the strongest. They're created out of that magic and water combining. So that's kind of all you got from the conversation that you've had with them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
Morgana goes, as I said, no reason to rush a decision such as this. Naiads are, they're finicky. As I mentioned, if they were easy to deal with, we would have done it ourselves. But I'm sure for an adventuring party like yourself, they wouldn't be much to deal with. But it is a business decision. And, you've had a long day of looking for your friend and enjoying the temple. So if you would, retire for the evening and present us with an answer in the morning.
okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss with the sisters before essentially dinner is dismissed?
Maybe. What do you guys think? Do you think we should ask about the buildings out back, like Bernadette?
And probably
I mean, sure. They're probably
I
gonna
guess
lie
it
though.
couldn't.
Okay, so you would like to ask?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, the sisters. Oh yes. Well, the tower in the back is our residence. The Leslies need a place to sleep when they're not doing things. I think I mentioned that they have a place to stay, but we're just going to confirm that it's the tower at this point.
Okay.
The Leslies need a place to sleep when they wish it, or a place to eat. They can't be in the temple at all times, and I'm sure you've seen some of our other employees, such as Ilmar. Ilmar resides in the tower at actually. Um, uh, Greensong corrects Morgana. Um, Actually, Ilmar resides here in the temple. He's a relatively new employee. He's not been granted a room in the tower just yet. So, while they're on a probationary period, so to speak, Ilmar stays here. But some of our other employees, they reside in the tower as well, and so do we. So, it's also where we do our our true work, so to speak. Uh, that's
What's
all.
that?
What's our true work?
Yeah.
Well, the temple acts not just as a resting place. We offer more services than just the bathhouse or the gardens. And as Arissa's athletics classes, so to speak, we offer our services. We come from a very magical family, and we are able to resolve situations that other people can't. As Morgana mentioned before, the mother that came to this place, she was seeking more than just the bathhouses services. She was looking for a magical way to have a baby, and the proprietor at the time was able to help her, and the three of us were able to help in our own ways as well. We do things like, we can raise the abilities of certain individuals. We can make the strong stronger or the smart smarter. Some people request that a missing limb be repaired or replaced, or a war injury, a bad injury be healed. we can also, well, for lack of a better word, wind back time. We can turn the old slightly less old. And we're pretty good at it.
Wow, you're pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Individually, we do have our strengths, but our power truly comes from our sisterhood. Together, we are stronger than we are separate, and together we can do some, well, what some would call miraculous things, but it's just magic. It does come at a price, however, it is expensive. We don't hide behind that, and we don't hide it from our visitors. Most of the people who come to the temple are looking for the traditional services. 5 gold pieces to spend a day here and rest in the bathhouse, or to receive massages, or a nice haircut, a good meal, stand out in the garden. For some people, that's all they need. They spend a week here and they go about their days and enjoy their time and leave refreshed. But many who seek us, some who seek us, few who seek us even, require a little bit more assistance, and they stay a little longer, and we do what we can for them. Not everyone can be helped, of course, and some people do take longer than others, but our treatments are effective, and we do our best to be honest with those we can and can't assist.
Cool.
Azarissa, again, choking on food, she's like, yeah, it's really cool.
I wonder
Oh
who's the
yes, I'm
strongest.
sorry. You mentioned the other building, the old shrine. Well, we really shouldn't discuss that tonight. If the troubles with the Naiad resolve themselves and um, you are willing to help us further, maybe we can discuss the shrine at a later date. But we've done what we can. It's been boarded up and blocked, and no one goes there. You can see it's kind of um, it's kind of protected. The visitors don't go there. The path has been removed. It's a shame that you had to see it at all, but it's not something that should be discussed tonight, at least.
Oh,
Yep.
well, maybe we can discuss it further later.
Uh, perhaps. Like I said, if everything goes well with the Naiad and you all come out unscathed from that, perhaps you can help us further, or maybe it's something that we could share. Trust and all. It's a sensitive matter.
Understood. Well, thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you all. I do appreciate I appreciate you hearing us out, and I appreciate you being receptive to the oddities around here. Poor Alder, becoming awakened, and the poor Leslies and their addled minds, so to speak. And but it was lovely having dinner with you. We don't often do this. We visit with with the people who come, but we often don't have dinner with them. This was very nice. And Azarissa just kind of grunts. She's as she's devouring like the last bit of steak and potatoes. And Greensong twinkles and yes, I'm certainly glad you enjoyed the food. I put a lot of work into it this time. And she winks over at Emmy, and I did my best to make sure that none of those pesky impurities leaked out of you this time. Um, and she Morgana again snaps her fingers, and Leslie comes over and lithely slips between and grabs up all the foods and the plates and rushes back into the kitchen, where you hear the door open and like some clanging and stuff as she drops off the stuff. And Morgana stands, as well as Greensong shortly after, and then Azarissa kind of like picks up. She's got like a big chicken leg in her hand, as she stands up, still eating, but. Well, yes, if that'll be all, I can have Saith show you to your room. And, Saith rushes over very quickly and, yeah, yes, of course, I'd be more than happy to, if you'd like. But, yeah, that essentially closes the conversation.
Cool.
You guys are Seth shows you to the door, and it's not really necessary. It's a right-hand turn. I will say that as of now, most of the Leslies have like disappeared. As dinner was happening, they were coming through the doors and kind of moving around. Many of the Leslies, as dinner was occurring, or after, as you guys were eating, they would come through with their trays. They would essentially, what you presumed happened is that as the diners were finished and placed their tray outside, the Leslies were waiting for them. They never moved once. They were essentially just standing outside the doors. So they would take the trays, come down, deposit the trays here, and then they would resume their normal places wherever that may be in the courtyard. It looks like they may have a little left to do before they like retire, I suppose, for the night, so to speak. But yeah, they seem to be taking up their positions. But you guys make your way down into your rooms. I can just move you there if you want. Let's see if I can move pieces. There we go. You guys can arrange yourself however you like. Discuss the dinner, or retire for the evening. But we'll say it is. We'll do a little afterwards. We'll do a little time skip, essentially saying like, okay, you guys are either going to bed or not going to bed, whatever you so choose. Yeah. So, Emmy, anything you'd like to discuss about the dinner? Including, we'll say, because I kind of pushed you off, if there's anything that you would like to do or perceive or investigate or insight or ask about, if there's any last minute questions, feel free to ask them. I'll answer them as if I was responding as the sisters, or if there's anything that you wanted to see or anything. If there's anything you wanted to discuss amongst each other as well about the engagement, you're more than welcome to do that.
I wanted to make a
about the towers part of the conversation.
Okay.
I wanted to make an insight about when they started mentioning the Naiad.
Okay, perfect. So it looks like Evie and Kyle have different insight checks. Emmy, would you like to do your own thing, or would you like to help one of them?
I would like to help Evie.
Okay. Perfect. So, Kyle, you can actually, yeah, Alaric will help Kyle. Adom, you can either ask your own question or you can roll separately for one or the other. It's really up to you. Do you have a separate thing that you'd like to discuss or have information on? Oh, Daniel said be right back. That was...
I'm back.
Okay, there we go. That was like 19 minutes ago. Never mind.
Anyway, is it possible to do a check too?
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm asking. Whatever you'd like to... If you're trying to roll insight, Emmy and Evie are rolling with advantage. Well, one of them is rolling with advantage. About the tower, they're trying to gain insight about, Morgana, whether she was being completely truthful or open about the tower. Kyle and Alaric are going to be asking about the Naiad or discussing that. So you can either help them and roll separately for one of those things, or you can roll an insight check on your own thing. It's up to you.
I'll help them with that.
Which one?
What Alaric and Kyle are rolling on the.
Okay, perfect. So Emmy, Evie, you guys decide whichever one of you guys has the highest insight. Kyle, Alaric, Adom, you guys can also decide who has the highest insight. Alaric has a 1.
I have 6.
I had a 7, so I just went ahead and rolled. I got a 25.
Okay, perfect.
Kyle?
So
Brian?
+2.
you only have, you said Kyle has a +2 for insight?
For insight.
Emmy,
Okay.
you didn't need to roll.
Oh, oops. Sorry.
Okay, so it looks like Adom can roll with advantage for the others. And then Kyle, you can roll separately because there's 3 of you trying to do the same thing, so I might as well give you guys a second roll.
So normal roll for me.
Safe.
Yeah. Okay, well,
24.
never mind. Adom rolled 24. Okay, so Emmy and Evie, you guys are okay, natural 1. Good job, pal. Do you you guys are asking about the tower. What specifically are you trying to glean from the conversation in regards to the tower?
Like, are so they said that they themselves and like long time employees live there.
Uh-huh.
So, but like, are there others that may be there? Are they hiding something else in that tower? Whether it be a person, an object, like I don't know. Are they not
Yeah.
being wholly truthful about what's going on in that tower?
So I'll say this about the conversation. You guys didn't necessarily ask, and they didn't provide. They definitely mentioned that there were other employees, but the only employees that you've seen so far are the Leslies, Saith, and Ilmar.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned Greensong corrected Morgana and said that Ilmar is actually sleeping here, which means
Mm-hmm.
he's not a member of the tower yet. And they didn't talk about Saith at all. So presumably Saith sleeps in the tower, but there are other employees that you haven't seen.
Oh,
And that's essentially what you can gather from that.
okay.
How many there are, who knows? Who they are, who knows? But you get the understanding that you've not seen all the employees here. Why they've been in the tower for a whole day and you haven't seen them, you don't know. But they weren't
Well, they
necessarily
did say
being,
that there was like their own work that they did in there, so maybe it's like employees that prep stuff for them.
perhaps
Hmm.
something.
Okay.
It's definitely something to guess. But yes, there are other people that work here, and they um, seem to be like not hidden, but they're not out here. So
Okay. Maybe they're more behind the scenes.
perhaps.
Cool. Thank you.
Of course. Adam, Kyle, Alaric, you were asking about the Naiad. Um, what can I give you? What the 24 as well? Um, Morgana was doing her best to make it seem like it was more of like a nuisance or an inconvenience. It's hard to get much of anything from Green Song. She's pretty stoic as well. Like she's blind, so her eyes don't really give her away as much. She's not like glancing around or anything like that. But you could tell that when Morgana was talking about the Naiad, Azarissa was angry. She was like really munching on her food, and you could tell that she was eating. Like that's just usually how she is. But when the discussion of the Naiad came around, she was making it a habit to like keep her mouth full, presumably so she didn't say more. Um, Whatever that means. You can tell, or from the conversation, from Azaris's reaction, from so maybe the tone in Morgana's voice. There is more about the Naiad than they're letting on. They talked about like ownership rights and things like that. Maybe that the Naiad is um, maybe the Naiad is there to just claim ownership over the pond, but or not the pond, but the bathhouse. But I would say from further discussion with the group and further discussion between Evie and Kyle, that the Naiads, they're chaotic, but they do things mostly for fun, right? They do things um they're like little tricksters as well. They're little water spirits. They're very fluid, they're very go with the flow kind of people. And because they don't have an alignment, so to speak. They're just chaotic neutral for above the table talk to best describe their personalities. Naiads aren't inherently evil. So whatever reason the Naiad is there, um, it either feels like slighted or it feels offended or it feels something. It's probably a little bit deeper than just ownership rights. And now, whether that matters to you or not, right, is really up to you in the group. But the reason the Naiad is there is probably more than just ownership of the bathhouse. And whether or not you discuss that with the Naiad before shooting it with an arrow is up to you. There. Good talk. Okay. So yeah, then we'll call that for the evening, or for this night anyway. Well, it doesn't really matter what the sleeping arrangements are. It's really irrelevant. However, is there anything anyone wants to do before you go to sleep? Any last minute conversations? Any last minute questions? Anything that you guys want
Should we
to?
take shifts?
Hmm.
I'll ask if we should take shifts watching. I don't know. I feel like we were safe, but there's no harm.
I'm good.
With
Okay,
taking shifts or not taking shifts?
with taking shifts.
Okay. So,
I'll take one shift.
is there any objection to shifts?
I don't think it's necessary, but I'm down to do it anyways. I'm not against it.
Okay.
Like if Kyle wants to, if it'd make him feel safer, then Evie will definitely help out.
Perfect.
Same.
Okay. Then what we will do is I'm just going to have you take shifts in the order that you're talking in. I will say for narrative purposes, it doesn't matter now because you're all in a bathrobe and slippers. But in the future, Emmy is wearing like heavy armor, so it takes her quite a long time to get in and out of that. It's best if Emmy usually goes either first or last in a watch order, just because of the amount of time that it takes to put on and off her armor. It doesn't make any sense for her to be in the middle, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because then
Can
she's
Evie,
yeah.
can Evie sleep with her sword next to her?
You guys have full access to your things. If your chests are unlocked, like I said, all your stuff is in here now. So you absolutely can have access to your weapons at this point, any kind of magic, anything that you need. If you'd like to, when you take your shift to get your stuff out of there, yeah, just again, the rules of the bathhouse, you are not meant to have that stuff out.
Oh, we should have asked if we could use it, like take it in with us when we talk to the Naiad.
I think that was what was in. So I say I think I know because I'm the DM, but that was more or less inferred when she said, give you time throughout the night to consider it. Because if you if you agree, you will have access to your stuff while you're dealing with the Naiad, but she doesn't want the other customers to see that. She doesn't want the other visitors to do it. So that's why it was best to do it at night. So essentially, that's what we're going for.
Okay.
I will say this. Let's see if okay, everyone close their eyes for a moment. Because I'm pretty sure I did this correctly. But okay, did I do this correctly? Still loading for me. Hey, I think I did it correctly. Look at this. Beautiful. Everyone can open their eyes.
It's dark.
It's dark.
Ah.
Uh-oh.
Rough.
Oh, what
I
the hell
agree.
is that?
That is a small dog.
Oh.
Bark, bark.
Bark indeed. Okay.
Wolf.
Tokens out. You guys can move yourself where you need to. You also need this. Boop. All right. So I forgot the talking order already. It was Emmy, Evie, Adon, Kyle. So I need each of you to go ahead and roll me a perception check. And I'm going to roll a 4-sided die. I would roll for Alaric too, but he's not here.
Imagine having dark vision and not seeing shit.
True.
Apparently Evie's perceptive as fuck.
You are indeed.
Oh, we're rolling perception.
You are.
It must have been staring at lights before this or something.
Alrighty. I don't really need to roll. Kyle and Evie rolled high enough. Evie, you are on the second watch, and you.
I'm so sorry about that. She heard the door and she started barking. And then she started barking at me,
It's okay.
giving me attitude.
Dogs are that
That's
way.
right. I'm talking about you.
Five
That's
bucks.
right. Walk away.
Oh,
Silly.
I
So
can feel the attitude
yeah, I
in
could
the
feel
air.
it. Just the tension. Evie, while you're on your watch, Emmy doesn't hear much of anything. It's a pretty quiet night. The first couple of hours, no big deal. Or first hour and a half. Evie, on yours, you feel like you hear movement out in the hallways. It's not enough to really just to like bother you. It could be another visitor who's like going to get water, or Leslie that's cleaning up something, or any number of things. But you do let the others know that after you're done that you've heard movement. Nothing concerning. Again, you're in a public place. You're in a spa, so to speak, a hotel. However, Kyle, I mean, it's your turn. You're one of the last to watch just before Alaric is. You hear some scraping outside of your door. Which door are you at? Which room are you in?
With the 8 on.
No one moved their tokens.
No one's moved again this time around.
I got it. One sec. There we go.
Okay. So we're gonna say that you do hear some scraping outside of your door, and it's as if somebody is fiddling with the lock.
Can I peek? But sneakily?
Yeah, which door do you want to peek out of? Your door?
Yeah.
So if we have this door, I mean, you could go through and peek out of ours.
Okay.
Like, oops.
Alrighty, go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
Okie dokie. Stealth is +10.
Oh,
Great.
18.
Yeah. So you open the door pretty quietly. You decide to, something is fiddling with the lock at your door. So rather than open up that one, you decide to sneak through the other one and creak open this door very quietly. And the door swings open and you peek your little Kirkpa eyes out, and you see a kobold with white and green scales and purple eyes fiddling with the lock on your room. He wears a patchwork dress and is quietly cursing and whispering. And that is where we're going to end today's session. Dun, dun, dun. I know we have another hour, but I don't want to do more without Laura because we're getting more into like fighting and stuff like that. So I was hoping Laura would be here a little bit more, but
okay.
yeah.
I love her. His name is Glitter.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to know that, but his
Yeah.
name is Glitter.
Oh, whoops.
It's my fault. I can't hide the names, unfortunately. I wish there was a way that I could like hide the token and the name separately, but unfortunately it's either on or off. And
I gotta mute real quick. One sec.
okay.
Do you think that would be like a page feature or something, or they just don't have it on Owlbear?
It's just not an owlbear. I could just delete the name and then type it in when you guys know, but that
That's what
Yeah.
would be work. Come on.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's just annoying, especially when I'm talking about like all the Leslies. Like if I have to type in all the Leslies names over and over and over again, that's just like, yeah.
Headbang.
So in this
I
case,
bang
it's
it.
easier just to show you guys the name and then pretend your characters don't know until they do, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, leave off with a little bit of a cliffhanger here.
We
You
like
guys
those.
can interrogate or ask or ignore or whatever you want to do with glitter when everybody gets back next Wednesday. Are there any issues with next Wednesday? Any conflicts anybody knows about?
I don't think so.
Let me double check. I
I think it's the 29th.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Hopefully Laura and Mel don't either. If Laura is not here next week,
I'm back.
okay. Perfect.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just asking if there were any conflicts anybody knew about next week.
Next week, I might be late.
Okay. When you figure it out,
yeah.
just let me know how late.
Like maybe an hour.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't be that late because it's my nail day. So, but it's a soak off day, like so it should be a lot shorter.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly how long it's gonna take. I could be perfectly on time, but I just want to give the heads up that there is potential for me being late.
Okay. We'll wait like 15 minutes, and then after that, we're just gonna push, just like everybody.
Yeah, totally. I don't expect y'all to wait that long for me.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, so we ended about an hour early today, a little bit more, but said we're getting more story information. I want Laura to have time to keep up. It's a lot more manageable to watch like a 3-hour video than a 4-hour video. Plus at this point now, everything is about to like spiral. So lots of you're going to be getting a lot of information, a lot of things, and a lot of decisions need to be made like all at once. And so I want as many people as possible to like be there for those. So it's kind of the nature of the game. But that is it from me. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns before we say goodbye?
Not for me.
Not for me.
Right. All right. Sorry, the Discord. All right. Well then, yeah, that's it. Love you guys. Have a good week. If you need anything, let me know. And other than that, I'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
Bye,
guys later.
guys.
Okay.
Goodbye.
All right, it's just me in the chat now, so that is it from me, friends. A little bit early we ended. Like I said, I like to make sure everybody is here for the bigger decisions. Yeah, Anthony, give me a bit of time to get things settled. And then yeah, I can hop on for a bit, I think. For some Helldivers. But yeah, so good time here. We will be back tomorrow at well, if you're here for more D&D, we'll be back next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It'll be episode 4. And like I said, hopefully we have everybody here because things will start to spiral down pretty quickly from here on out. I say pretty quickly, but you know, my party they like to take their time, which is perfectly fine. We got all the time in the world. We're not in any kind of rush. So we'll see, but my plan from here on out is that things are going to happen very quickly. And it's really going to be up to the party to respond to those things. And so I want as much of the party here as possible. Kind of the point, right? So, if you're here for more Final Fantasy, we'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. For that, we just finished Mount Gagazet. We are in the Mount Gagazet caves, and we're essentially right at the end of that. So I have to walk down a long hallway and beat up on a boss, and then we're in the Xanarkan Ruins. And then once we're in the Xanarkan Ruins, we're kind of at the end game at that point. There's not much more to be done there. So, yeah, I think that's it for me. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate all for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry I can't communicate much when I'm playing D&D. My priority is obviously the table. I'm doing, I stream so everybody can watch when they want to, but I also do it because I upload all the videos to YouTube. So if players miss or want to catch up, then they are there. So this is more just for continuity than anything else. But yeah, got nothing else really to say or talk about. So love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I will see. Hey, Gloria, thank you for being here. I said that like 3 times, but I mean it 3 times. I mean it all the times. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you. Love you.